up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going, Celtic Warrior Shane?
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome back. Hello, our drinking buddies, our friends. I am at Ref Marsh. We are at WOTR, the show. With me today is at Crybaby Klump.
Yo.
We also got Miss Amanda Jayne with a Y.
Yeah, hello.
And this is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show. Because until we get through a decent episode 1 that just goes without a flaw, we will not get to episode 2. That was our promise to you. So we are on episode 1 again here today in the dive bar of the IWC.
Maybe this is the last episode 1. I have a good feeling about it.
Yeah,
Really?
right.
Yeah, this could be it. I don't want to jinx this, but I feel like this could be the final episode 1.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I was real nervous
Las
that like
Vegas-
green slime was going to fall on Clump's head right then. Like
here.
Nickelodeon style. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. No. Vegas betting odds say to me, no.
Yeah.
We're gonna still have an episode 1.
I mean, more likely than anything, I would actually have like a Janet Jackson-esque wardrobe malfunction.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Mhm.
I believe that entirely.
Yeah.
Let's see, guys. I'm in a good mood. I had a lot of fun watching wrestling this week. I did not have a lot of things that really bothered me, so my drinking today is celebration. But we're going to talk about that because I know. Oh yeah, my favorite thing today was as I asked Miss Amanda Jayne and Klump if they were prepped, if they were ready, if they watched it. Both of them went, "Oh, I watched it," and I was not happy one bit. And I was like, "Hell yeah!" Stackhouse, whoop whoop. Stackhouse Games. That's right. Stackhouse has changed it up. Sam Stackhouse _games. Give him a follow, guys. If he's not an affiliate, he fucking better be by the end of the night.
You need to hit up my boy Stackhouse. Hit up West Coast Pro Wrestling, WC Pro Wrestling, I think, on Twitter. Or if not, you'll find me with their propaganda. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're, West Coast Pro, we want to get you over there, Sam Stackhouse. So do what you got to do.
Yeah.
We create stars, apparently.
And then Marsh can meet you in person, and you can realize that maybe being a friend to him is not a good idea.
That's right. You can beat me
Yeah.
up.
The man, the myth, the legend, the disappointment.
Yes. The absolute disappointment.
Damn. So cold.
So good.
I gotta throw it back at him.
Klump's like 100% excited and anticipated every time I go to hang out with him. 100% disappointment 100% of the time I hang out with him.
No, more than anything, and I know other people will say this to you. When I spend time with you, and it's amazing, and I love it, and you're impossibly sweet. Like, no, I don't think that gives you enough credit because of your demeanor, because you do everything you can to show the world that you're not, but you are impossibly sweet. You leave, and I'm like, damn, I'm a shitty person because I did something wrong, and it's frustrating. You need to live up to being a dick like you do, but you're just too sweet.
You're just like, I could be better. But that's just it. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Better.
For the horns,
It's all
people.
good. It's all
for that
good.
new minute thing or whatever they do.
Stackhouse does say in the chat, I just watched their show on IWTV the other day. Stackhouse, the other day you watched their show, and another day you could be on their show. Let's get you on that show, man.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Starboy Charlie. I mean, that kid's everywhere now. Titus Alexander's another example of someone who's going to go far. Fucking
Hammerstone?
Will Hobbs. Will fucking Hobbs.
Yeah.
Right before. And we still didn't get a goodbye. I'm sad about that.
I think they'll work something out. I think they will.
I think so too. I was hoping for anniversary, but I don't think that's going to happen. So
it's going to have to time
I mean,
out
it's
just
not
right.
like they.
Hmm?
Go ahead. It's not like it's not like AEW values exclusivity in their content when they should. So.
Yeah, I would say that there's probably a better balance, but I agree with you. It's not like they don't seem to be terribly concerned with that a lot of the times. Let's see. Real quick in the chat too, Chaotic Beanie Eye says, "Hey y'all, cheers, Chaotic." And Sam Stackhouse says he's Starman Chuck now. We decided that in Vegas. Hell yeah, dude.
I love it.
Let's hit it real quick with what we got. I'm gonna start with Klump. What's in your glass, man?
I have a Mexican Coke. I'm very happy.
Ooh, those are so good.
I'm
Glass
jealous.
bottle still, or did you pour
Hell
it
yeah.
out?
No, glass bottle.
Yeah.
Well, you can pour it out into a glass if you want. I'm just saying.
No,
how
but
he's
that's
doing
not. That's not how it doesn't taste right.
It doesn't. I have in the past like week. I feel very much like I've learned like a secret that my dad did that I never did, because I used to drink soda warm. Like I always like preferred drinking soda warm or like room temperature. A Coke on ice, because I my teeth are super sensitive to cold. So ice on my teeth is the worst thing ever. Coke on ice, which seems so basic and dumb, with a straw, chef's kiss. And if I do it, I pour it out, I like look at it, and I'm like, I have become my father. It is okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Klump has
Yes.
chalky teeth. His teeth are like chalk. They're very brittle and porous and soft. So he can't have
They're
that
just-
harsh cold.
A fair amount of them are fake. The ones that are left are, I grind my teeth at night, so they're kind of shitty. It's a very expensive mouth that I've ruined because I'm not great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't wait to get mine.
if you don't mind me asking, and you might, have you lost any teeth in bar fights from when you used to drink?
No, not in bar fights.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah,
That's
it
all
was
I'm
all
saying.
dumber high school shenanigans.
Fuck worse, dude. That sounds probably way worse. However, it's not about what you're drinking. It's who you're drinking with, and we're glad you're drinking with us. And you are our sober friend, so having that Mexican soda is high tier, man. We get that down here. I had one time while I was driving through Texas, a Mexican Dr. Pepper.
Interesting.
Dr. Pepper.
Lord, I don't know.
Correction. Yeah, it was really good.
It's
It was
just
really
like- I had a Mexican Mr. Pibb, Senor Pibb.
Senior
Senor
kid.
Peep.
Senor Pibb.
Senor Peep. Amanda, what are you drinking? What's in your glass?
Well, I got two things today, and I'm sorry to disappoint everybody. If you were betting on me to have sponsored, not sponsored, sorry, can't do. But Coke, again, I'm very jealous of Klump's Coke over there because I just have a plain old can. It was actually made, I think, might have been bottled and packaged down the street from me because we have a distribution center and they make the stuff. So who knows? But I prefer when you go, if you ever get to go eat with me or you go out with me, I always, when I order Coke, no ice. And it's not because I like it warm or anything. It's not because they don't offer free refills. I hate it when servers ask me that if it's a place that doesn't have free refills. I'm like, no, the ice dilutes the soda because already from the fountain or whatever, it already is different. So don't take that away from, don't take it all away from me. And this comes from a Coca-Cola addict, not a Coke addict, but you know.
That's a
You
very
heard it
clear
here first.
distinction.
Amanda's, you heard it here first. Amanda's a cokehead. Okay,
Yep.
keep going.
Definitely addicted to Coke.
Regular, not diet. And then the other drink today is I want to thank my friends. Hopefully you can see the can from Golden State Cider. I am drinking Mighty Dry as well today. Woohoo! One of Sonoma County's, I think, one of their best ciders. And you can fight me on it.
All right, we will fight you on it.
Are there multiple ciders in Sonoma County? It would be the first thing I would ask.
Yes,
Because-
there are.
Okay.
Ace is one of them.
Oh.
Fair question.
There's like
Big
3 or
one.
4 because just like the beers, you know, they popped up at the cider, you know, like Bear Republic, and then obviously Russian River Brewing Company, because you know everyone likes Pliny the Elder. I don't, but you know, I'm weird, but you know. But I will
Nice.
say with Golden State, if you guys are ever in my hood, well, first of all, you got to tell me you're in my hood, so I can say what's up. Going to their tap room, they have my favorite cider of all time, and you can't They unfortunately don't can it or bottle it, but it actually is a blend of pineapple and apple. So good. It is so good. Really ice cold. It's like perfection.
Pineapple and apple, like little things like that. I wouldn't drink it, but yeah, sounds the
Nice.
fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
Especially on tap when it comes out. Like that's how one of my favorites, and actually Grado, professional wrestler. I love that guy. He and I bonded over Strongbow from the tap. And I said, that is the only way to drink Strongbow. Sorry. It tastes like shit any other way. So cheers to you.
All right. Cheers to you. I am having, because it was a couple reasons, but I am having the Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA.
Oh.
Nice.
Because I had a couple left in the old fridge because I was going to take them with me to Vegas. I was hoping to run into a friend and give it to him as a surprise, and turns out he was not actually in Vegas during that time, so it did not happen. I was thinking about shipping them, and I thought about the difficulties with just blindly shipping beer through the mail service. And at this point, I've had them for a couple months, and I'm just afraid they're going to start to turn sour, so I'm just going to drink them now.
Yeah, it's not generally like, it's not great to ship alcohol, or like, I mean, it's better to ship it than like my sister for some reason wanted Tecate when she moved to Maine because you can't get it up there, and she like was like, I miss it so much. So my mom was like, I have a good idea. Let's put like a 30 pack of Tecate in the check bag. Okay. She did it in my check bag. In the unpressurized cabin. Yeah. And we like get to the airport, and I'm going and I look, and I didn't even have to like guess which bag it was. It was the one that had beer pouring out of it as it's going, just leaving this trail as it's kind of going along the like conveyor. Look over at my mom, pick it up, and I'm just like I look at her, I'm like, so we're going to go buy clothes, right?
Yeah, we got to go to H&M or some shit.
Yeah.
My fat ass does not fit in anything they make, so more like a DXL. Is there a Hank's Portly boy?
Yeah. There's got to be one nearby.
Or my
I
thing
once
would ask at H&M. I'll tell you. My thing is, does that come in buffalo size? And they always look at me, and I'm like, I'm serious.
When I was living in New York, I came to visit some friends here in Arizona, and I knew they didn't get Yingling, and they'd never had it, and I was like, they gotta experience Yingling. So I'd taken a 6-pack and wrapped them all, each bottle individually, in like a sandwich bag that I put like a piece of bubble wrap around, and then wrapped inside of a T-shirt for all 6 of them, and packed my bag full of all my stuff and the 6-pack of beers, because I was like, I'm gonna get them over there, but at the same time, like you said, man, that's an unpressurized cabin. I was like, these fucking bottle caps could pop right the fuck off, and I'm screwed. So I tried my best, and then that bag got promptly lost when I got to Arizona, and I was like, well, fuck, because that means this thing's just rolling around somewhere. And then they found it like a day later. I have them drop it off. When they drop it off, the thing looks like it's been stepped on, kicked in. The handle's been broken off of it. Parts of it have been cut and torn, where it's just like, it looked like it was just stuck in a fucking like
machine.
Like a machine. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, this is fucked. And I was like, well, at least I know everything's destroyed already. You could tell from the outside. I open it up. Everything perfect, dude. It was insane. Couldn't fucking believe it.
Damn. What the
Could
hell?
not believe it. So we promptly put all those into their fridge, and then we had them over the next couple of days. But
nice.
Well, I think I had something local and had them have those. So, but it worked the one time. So that's why I thought. And we drove to Vegas. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll put these couple beers in a cooler, take them up with me. And then right before I went, my friend was like, I'm not going to be there. And I was like, fuck.
Like,
and now at this point, I just don't want to go bad. And yeah.
You didn't go do the whole let me drop them off at your front door kind of thing.
They live in Chicago. We were hoping to meet in Vegas.
Oh.
Oops. Yeah. So I was gonna do a thing, but no, it's just not gonna happen. I'm just gonna drink it now. And here we go.
Well, speaking of Chicago, there's drinks that I don't get that people like you have to experience, and I blame. I'm not gonna name this person, but I blame this person. They're like, "Oh, have you had Malort yet?" And I'm like, "No, don't ever do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If a person in Chicago, when you're in Chicago, tells you to do it, don't do it. Don't
Anything
be dumb.
that ends in ort, I just don't drink.
I know, but yeah, there was pressure.
All right. Well, hey, it makes sense. Let's see. So, yeah, that's what. Oh, there's a bug on my mic. That's what we were drinking. Guys, I'm having a good time. Let's talk news. I don't have a ton of news. One of the things I wanted to bring up, because I know producer lady wanted to, but she's already asleep. That's just how we roll here.
Oh no.
Carmela's wine, Capo Cagna, has been rebranded to be called Kappa Cagna, CAPACAGNA. It is Italian for boss bitch, which is fantastic. But they made a big announcement this week. They are now selling rosé on top of the Chard and Merlot. And if you ordered as of up until tonight, so if you're watching live, you still have time to get on there and do it. If you order by tonight, if you're listening to this on podcast, it doesn't come out till the day after, so it's already too late. But if you are watching live, you can go to capocagna.com now, order, and if you get that rosé within this time frame, you can be part of a virtual happy hour with Carmela, which is pretty fucking cool.
Are you serious? Shut the front door.
Yeah.
I bought some.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We got some right away before I even got. And the other thing that's really cool is you have to order at least 3 bottles because shipping is so expensive that they want to make it worth it for people.
Mm-hmm.
But they also allow like payment plans. So producer lady jumped on it. I think she accidentally got 6 bottles. She meant to get 3, but she got a 6-pack. But like every month, it's gonna pull just a little bit out of her account, and we're gonna be fine, and you know all that stuff. I mean, not that we were like in dire straits before, but it's just gonna be this little charge that goes, and then she's gonna get. I think she's getting 2 rosé, 2 Chard, and 2 Merlot. I'm probably gonna drink the Chardonnays. I don't think that she's a Chardonnay person, but the rosés and Merlot are all hers. But yeah, so she's gonna jump in on there. So hopefully, you, producer lady, and Carmela, I'll be having a few sips.
Yep. I'm gonna bring the Sonic plain slushy. Pour her wine in there, big girl. Yeah. This is perfect. Especially because Sonic now ripped off my idea on episode 1 about doing this with her wine. So now they have wine slushies. So big middle finger, Sonic. Where's my money, bitch?
Klump, was there something you were gonna say earlier?
I was thinking, like, didn't somebody die? Not Norm Macdonald, I know that one, but like, didn't somebody pass that was wrestling related or something like that? I don't know. Happens a lot. Dark Side of the Ring's back tonight.
Dark Side of the Ring's back?
Yeah.
Who's tonight?
Plane Ride from Hell.
That's such a weird one to do that episode on. Ever since they announced it, I was all like, really? I feel like everyone who was involved has already had a whole podcast about it. Was it really that big of a news? It just sounds like a bunch of adults acting like kids and being inebriated and overly sexual. And
well,
I don't know.
I feel like that too with a lot of things where like there's things where we heard some of the stories of it, and as time goes on, it'll get less and less like breaking because they'll have these stories. But I like to imagine the reason they do it is I know people that really haven't watched wrestling in a long time that are really getting into Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they've not heard of this. Let's go into it. And it's a good like jump into that more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that one.
Was it the Nick Gage one that really got them hooked into it?
No. The one that really got them was the Benoit one.
Oh, that's a good one to
Yes. It was real.
It's a fascinating story for sure.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing I was going to bring up, Medusa she's made an announcement. She's been working on her memoir for a long time here, but she actually has press now from it. So she's going to be getting that story out from ECW Press. I can't imagine that's like directly related to the old ECW, but it is. So she's getting her book out. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. She's been talking about it for a long time. I've heard her mention it in a few podcast interviews over the years. So that's really cool. It's really big news. She's got the press on it now.
She's, I think, going on the boat. I think. So she's probably going to be...
Oh, you think she's going to be on the cruise?
I think she's on the Jericho cruise. I think. So that means she's going to be shilling her book.
That's cool.
Not that I'm going to buy it, but...
Hey, it might be worth it. She's probably got a pretty interesting story. She was a monster truck driver too for a while. Let's not forget.
Oh no, yeah, no, she's got a really interesting story. I've talked to her before, and really cool. But I don't read anymore. So.
That's a good point. If she puts out an audiobook, I'll get it.
Yeah, if she does audio book, I'm there, sister. I am there. Without it, no. Only because college and English.
At this point in my life, if you're not willing to read your book out loud to me, I'm not really to put in the time either.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If you wrote it, the least you can do is read it out loud to me.
Yeah, like I feel that way about the Bible. It should be, there's like 4 voices that should do the Bible, and I probably would listen to the whole thing. Like James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
There's someone else.
Gilbert Gottfried.
No. But if he were alive, the guy that did a lot of the Disney stuff, Exitenshow, like the Haunted Mansion and stuff, the ghost host, that would be a good voice. And then I think for some reason, because I don't know why, her voice is very soothing to me sometimes, is Oprah.
Yeah.
Yep. If all 4 of them read the Bible, I would listen to the whole thing.
And you know who could have read the Bible and I would listen to it over and over again? Norm Macdonald. He would have been perfect for an audiobook but he did pass away. Me and Kevlar talked about it for a bit yesterday, how much he kind of meant to us. If there's anything either of you wanted to say about it, it really, I know it's not wrestling related. He was a wrestling fan. I mentioned it before on my Twitter. I retweeted a video someone posted of Adam Sandler and Norm Macdonald talking about old wrestling they watched when they were growing up, and it was just a cool. They were so excited. It was really cool to watch them both just smiling so big talking about wrestling. But and I feel like that we've seen him in the audience from time to time. But at the end of the day, if there's anything either of you wanted to say about Norm specifically, because he meant an awful lot to me, and that one hit me real hard. So.
I'm sorry, man. I get that. Like when somebody that you connect with like that, it hurts. And no, he was one of my absolute favorites from SNL. And he was funny. He was the kind of person, like when he would do interviews or talk about things, he was like, I don't agree with this motherfucker. He's kind of an asshole at times, but he was too fucking funny, and I loved the deadpan. I loved how he just he relished in making people feel awkward.
Yes.
Like just him, if you want to watch something that's uncomfortable and amazing, when he was on The View and he kept trying to talk about Bill Cosby with everyone trying to get away from it, and he's just like, he just keeps going at it in the best ways. And
it was Clinton. He talked about Clinton being a murderer. Yeah.
Yes.
And Barb Walters like, you can't just make those accusations. He goes, I was pretty certain everyone knew.
Which again, like, fuck, you're good.
Just so good. And you're right. They keep moving on. They keep saying other things, and he just kind of goes like, but really, you guys don't know the like, it was this whole thing, and he just kept going with it, and you're right. The other thing, Comedy Central tweeted out a video of Norm Macdonald's roast on Bob Saget, and it's like the extended version, and it's a full like 8.5 minutes long, and you're watching, and in a lot of ways he's bombing, but in that bomb there's so much genius because he knows exactly what he's fucking doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in stand-up comedy. I've always loved people who play to the back of the room.
Yes.
And I feel like he was the best at that. He knew he was going for it.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit about the crowd. He was going for the people there on stage who got it. And they got it, and it was great.
Yeah. Like it pans over to Gilbert Gottfried, and the guy's like crying. He can't stop laughing so hard. And it's other people are kind of like, this is bad. And Gottfried's like, this is genius.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when on the Hugh Hefner roast, and Gilbert Gottfried made a joke about 9/11.
Oh yeah.
And it was like 3 weeks after fucking 9/11, and he says, "I'm sorry, I almost didn't make it. My connecting flight was with the Empire State Building."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and everyone
it,
just started booing, and
everyone on the stage is like is dying because it's like the best, worst
like,
joke ever.
100%. And there was like a before the boo was an audible groan. Like the entire crowd at one time went, "Oh!" Like it was just amazing to have that much brilliant comedy. Is beyond, and this comes from somebody who's just obsessed with Andy Kaufman. It goes beyond the idea that you can put together a string of words in a sentence that makes people laugh at the end. It's being able to control the emotions of those in the audience in mass. You've controlled the entire audience to react a certain way, whether that be groaning, whether that be an awkward feeling, whether it be absolute laughter, whether it be confusing them. You're controlling it. It's exactly by design. That's the brilliance of it. And yeah, I don't know that Norm wasn't in top 5 of that of all time, you know?
Yeah. Well, when you say, speaking of that, like my favorite, probably one of 3, I would say favorite skits of Saturday Night Live has to be the Jeopardy when Norm was Burt Reynolds, because
Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, I just, for me, when I think about it, is each and every one of those guys. I mean, it just made it so timeless and just like, this is like great, because now I hate watching SNL because everyone just cracks. They can't hold it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it bothers me because I'm like, yo, you need to hold it together, because I know if I were one of those 3 and I was doing the Jeopardy thing, I would have been on the floor. But and it just makes
part of what made it so great is they did.
And it was it was something that people like remember, because no one's going to remember. I believe, didn't he start the year that was the worst Saturday Night Live cast ever, with like Robert Downey Jr. and
Joe Piscopo?
and Michael. Yeah. So
Joe
that I'll
Piscopo.
always remember too. But yeah. Like there were a couple of diamonds in the rough, but yeah, I think that for me, that was one of my favorites of all time.
No, there's a lot, and his Weekend Update was.
Oh, Weekend Update was great. I love Weekend Updates.
Incredible. The note to selves, dirty work I've seen more times than probably any singular film in my entire life. Even Bishop from TW Takes, so TW Takes Podcast. .com/TWTs, put in promo code dive bar, get a discount on some of his badass shirts. But he texted me this morning, he was listening to yesterday's podcast, and he mentioned his favorite part of that movie, and he talks about it all the time, was Chris Farley G7 fighting man. And Norm's like, you just hit G8. And goes, what? And goes, I like pina coladas. And they fucking start fighting in the bar like
I miss Chris Farley. It's another good guy. Good one.
Someone posted a picture of Chris Farley, Norm Macdonald looking at each other and said, heaven's a hell of a lot funnier right now, I'm sure. And, yeah.
Or hell.
And one thing,
Cool.
or hell. Yeah, hey. That's a
hey,
good
I'm
point.
not shitting on him. Just
yeah.
You believe in what you want to believe.
Yeah. Yeah. Wherever the stand-up club is on the other side, they're there for sure, and they're there together. RJ City put out a good tweet, and I won't dwell on it because I talked about it a bunch yesterday, but he said that Norm Macdonald was a genius who decided to tell jokes, and to me that was just so poetically perfect. And Bishop coming through the chat says he's here, so cheers Bishop. But
I agree with that. That is like a pretty amazing statement. Yeah, he's I mean, I always think like the best comedians are really truly like they are. You could do so much more, but you're doing this, and I love it, and I don't want you to do anything else. Yeah.
Creative genius. It could be like they have some kind of weird mental health, and I'm not joking about mental health. I'm just saying that a lot of times in some of that mania, when someone who has mental health issues, they probably bring out a lot of that funny with them, and it's comforting. So, I'm like, and that's a good thing, but
for sure. But yeah, I think that with a like what Klump was saying. What I think is nice about it is that sometimes people are referred to as, oh, this person was a comedic genius. This person was a genius at comedy. This person was a specifically aimed thing, and it's like Klump's kind of alluding to. No, this guy was just a general genius who decided that his main focus was going to be making people laugh and make him happy, and how incredible is that, you know? So
Yep, just as there's some people, wrestlers, that's their thing.
Yeah, geniuses find something to latch onto and be the best at it, and that was Norm's thing. Grim Reaper coming through the chat. Cheers to Grim Reaper. I only have one more thing for news, and we can get into the shows. But Charlie Dempsey was announced to be coming to NXT UK. That's William Regal's son. So I'm actually really excited about that. I don't have a lot to say about it other than he was announced by WWE that he's going to be entering NXT UK soon. And the idea of someone... I mean, it's Regal's son. Like, fuck.
It's like Finley's son, you know? You're like, you can't tell until you see, you know?
I mean, hopefully it's not like Scott Hall's son, or Ricky Steamboat's son, or David Flair.
My understanding of Steamboat's son, though, is he was actually really good in FCW, but something just didn't click outside of that.
Yeah.
But,
or Sim Snuka.
Yeah. I mean, but Regal's like also a brain for it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's a talent scout and a trainer. Like, Regal's a special person where it's all like, well, goddamn, like, you got the whole gamut in one human, and that's your dad? Fuck. You know?
Yeah.
And he's connected.
That's a hard one. Yeah. So hopefully he's just almost as good as his dad, but better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's gotta want your dad.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, you know, I think you ignored this bit of news because of one of the people in it. But I would like to say congratulations to Candice LeRae and Marsh's favorite person on the planet, Johnny Gargano. They're having a boy.
Oh, they're having a boy? That's cool.
Yeah. You didn't watch the whole thing.
I couldn't. So I tried to watch. They did an announcement on Twitter. I tried to watch with the sound off. I didn't even click it to get the noise on. Gargano was playing with his dog with a balloon, and it was all like, oh, it's the baby announcement thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So I start watching it. The dog starts kind of nipping at the balloon, and I was like, oh, the dog's going to pop the balloon. It's going to be a color. It's going to be the thing. Again, I did not put the sound on, but Candice walks into frame. She says something to Johnny, deadpan, and she got the best facial expressions. She's so good.
Yeah.
The camera goes back over to Johnny. He says a line, which I don't know what it was. I didn't hear it. And he makes a facial expression at the end of it. And the facial expression to me was so fucking stupid and childish. I was like, that's it. I can't watch any more of this. And I scrolled away. But I tried. I could not get through even a baby announcement. He annoys me so bad. I'm sure he's a very nice person. Cool. His performances annoy me the shit out of me. So I didn't get to the end. So if they're having a boy, that's cool. But I mean, I don't think I would say it's shitty if they're having a girl. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about announcements like that.
Well, you know, watching it with the sound probably would have been a little bit better, but I get it. I know why, you know, but the actual reveal of it was pretty funny. So if you love Candice LeRae and her facial expression, that's the only reason I think, Marsh, you should watch the end of it, is when they do the reveal, her face is just priceless.
Okay. That's fair. Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. All I thought was I can't stand any more Johnny. I didn't think about the idea that there's going to be Candice down the line as well. So.
Well, Johnny having the baby, I don't think so. Come on now.
I mean, that's a good point. I was so distracted and annoyed that I completely forgot about the fact that Candice will be literally having a baby, physically, releasing a baby from her body.
I know, that's going to be awesome.
Fucking
little wrestling little baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about Klump? I feel like we've been talking all over Klump.
It's all good. I mean, congrats to them. I would say I would be disappointed if they were having a girl, just because I want to be a
yeah, they're having a girl.
Just because fuck.
damn it.
Actually, no, that'd be cool because now I'm not looking forward to in 20 years we're going to be bitching about Johnny Gargano II
Yeah.
being overly loud.
I hope he comes in as
future
JG2.
wrestling.
He should come in as JG2. It'd be good.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get into it with NXT. I'm going to say more things, but
Okay.
that's cool and all. I mean, I'm excited for that. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
People
they
be
didn't
having
burn
babies.
down a
people be
city
making
or
babies.
anything.
What?
They were able to successfully make the announcement without burning down a city. Like, that's good. It's
I'm
progress.
surprised. Like, okay, what kind of knockoff Jerry Lewis bullshit did he do when making the baby? Did he pratfall his way into it?
Well,
Oh! Was Austin Theory in the corner watching?
Going, yeah. Don't start me with Austin Theory, please. We'll talk about that when we talk about NXT.
oh, we'll get into it. Before we get into that, was there any other news by either of you?
Didn't someone just sign with MLW?
Bobby
That was a
Fish.
big deal. Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is good. If
I'm
anybody's
glad
interested,
that
I have a few signed Bobby Fish cards. I don't know what to do with. So if anybody's interested, send me a DM. Slide in those DMs. I'll sell them.
I love Bobby Fish. Now I can wear my infamous shirt again. I pulled that one out of the closet.
You have an infamous Fish shirt?
Yeah, it's a shirt that says infamous, and it's like a dictionary thing. And
It literally says infamous on it?
yeah, it says infamous, and
Well,
then
this took a turn.
Yeah, well then it says infamous, and then there's the definition of it, and the third line was see Bobby Fish.
See, I thought you were like being clever with
No.
your words, but you were being quite
No.
literal, and that
I was
was a
being
surprise
quite
to me.
literal. Quite literal. Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I think there's a
Okay.
picture of me and Red Dragon with it too on,
All right.
I think. But I'd have to look back.
All right. Klump, was there any news that you were aware of that you wanted to throw out there before we get going? I know we got a late start to the day, so I'm not saying we need to have something. You don't need to find filler. I just don't want to step over you if you had something you wanted to say.
Like just generally news. I could talk about taxes and stuff.
No,
I don't think
thank
it's
you.
appropriate
Text
for the
picture.
show. Okay.
No? All right. Well, I mean, maybe next week. We'll shelf it.
What, you
We'll
know
table
what?
that one for
Episode
later.
2. Episode 2.
We'll
We
get
should
it on
do
episode 2 for sure. No doubt.
Mhm.
That'll be the theme of episode 2.
Texas.
Episode 2. Taxes and you.
Klump's like, I fucking hate you guys.
Wrestling with taxes.
Wrestling with taxes. So, all right. So before we get into the shows, real briefly, TW Takes Bishop is in the chat. He says, "What's with the subtle Cena flex behind you?" Or is that something else? He's talking about these banners I've put on over here to match my pin over here. The new NFT with John Cena has the 16 championships, and it's got the little logos of the titles. These are actually Connor's Cure bandanas, and I have them up because it's Connor Cure month, and I do think it's a really good cause, and I do really appreciate the work that they do. I lost a young godson, and it wasn't to cancer, but he was he could easily have been in something like this. So we've been a big fan of Connor's Cure for a long time, and that's what we're doing here. If you checked out yesterday's video, Kevlar even had the Connor's Cure rally rag, the big towel,
Oh,
that was
awesome.
the title, and he had that laid out on his chair. So I don't have the website right up on top of my feed right now, but I do encourage people to take a look at it and donate and do what they can. It is that time, and there's a new shirt for Connor's Cure. It's navy blue, which is awesome because there's enough black T-shirts. I really like it.
Thank
Actually,
you.
Sam Roberts has referred to wrestling fans as the boys wearing black shirts. Boys wearing black
We-
T-shirts is the way we talked about wrestling fans.
Girls wear them too.
Yeah. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying
Yeah.
that there is definitely a vast majority.
I am saying no. Because two of my favorite wrestling shirts are not black.
Mhm.
The first one is a purple one that says all my friends are dead. Need no other explanation. The other one is the funny equals money, the Colt Cabana one. Those are my two favorite shirts. And they're not in black.
But
Yeah.
if you look into a sea of wrestling fans at any given show, It's going to be a repetitive nature up until we find a couple of women out there. And that's not to say we don't appreciate you, and 100% that's why we want you on the show. It's why I like having producer when she's awake. I love having a female voice in this wrestling fandom because, God, it's hard to grasp that when it's there, you know?
Yeah, and we don't all like, okay, when I get to, you know, I have booty talk, but that's not like 24/7, you know? I haven't talked about it since episode 1, so, you know,
That's
I'm
really
just
good
saying.
point.
Yeah, very good.
I've got
Very good.
Bishop's in the chat. He says, "Dope. My wife has the bracelet. I have the pin." Yeah, I'm wearing the pin. I have the bracelet too. I just found it. Had to dig it up. I bought like 3 or 4 of the bracelets when they came through town once, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with these, but I'm gonna have them. And me and Kevlar both have the pins. I really like those. But yeah, they're selling. Not only are they selling the new shirt, they're selling last year's shirt too, which I really liked because I really wanted last year's and I couldn't get it at the time. And this year I'm gonna pony up and get both. And
Oh, awesome.
it's actually really cool. I have a picture. If you look on my Instagram, if you scroll through it, there's a picture of me and Becky Lynch and my brother backstage at a show, and I'm wearing my Conjure shirt. And I love that that's the shirt I'm wearing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And by the way, it
Go
is Latino Heritage Month, and none of the wrestling companies that I've seen so far have said nothing.
that's bullshit. You're not paying attention because if you
Oh,
look
I'm
at
not?
my Twitter alone, WWE has not only mentioned it, they have an entire thread about Bayley and a lot of her accomplishments as a
But
Latino
I
woman.
don't. Yeah, but Bailey, like, well, first of all, I didn't know she was Latina. Okay, I did not know.
Her
Pam's
name's
Latino.
Pamela Martinez.
So I know people named Martinez, and they're not, you know, of Latin descent. You know,
Just not
That's
true.
Yeah.
That's just not true. That's where the name
That is
comes from.
true.
It means son of Martine.
Yep.
I don't know who Martin is. Okay, I don't
It's
know.
like saying.
But I'm saying bad on Ring of Honor because they have some of the best, like right now, luchadors over there. You know, bad on damn AEW because they've got some, you know, pretty influential, I think, Latin people. I'm just saying.
It's not like they have a god of Latin descent
No, I didn't say that. No.
that they push all the time that could talk about it. Yeah, you know, Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah. I mean, even
Mexican.
then too.
Thunder Rosa. I mean, you're not talking about
Thunder
Thunder
Rosa.
Rosa. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. That woman, she has pride in her shit.
Yeah.
More so than anyone. You know, and it's real. It's not like fucking Hulk Hogan in the USA flag. No.
No, that's true. I mean, I will say if you keep an eye out on WWE's social media, they do typically put out multiple things. And Bailey's not the only one I saw them post something about. She's the one I retweeted today because I'm a big fan of Bailey. But WWE definitely mentions it. But yeah, you have a lot of companies with a lot of incredible Latin talent. You'd hope that they would celebrate. You know what's going to happen though? It's going to be great. They'll probably find a charity for Latin Americans and something about getting them in college or something. And Cody will have a delightful T-shirt, which all the proceeds will go to that.
I'm waiting for the Cody shirt because now he's back
Cody
on
shirt.
TV. So it is coming. It is forthcoming.
For sure.
I did tease one person who is working for that company who is part Latin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, where's your tribute shirt?
Yeah.
They just were like, what the fuck? Why are you asking this? So because I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, Cody's gonna get one for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna get a Thanksgiving one too.
Yeah,
You know, him at the
did found
table.
America.
So it's his thing about, you know, it's his way of like poking fun at Roman Reigns and the head of the table. It's Cody cutting a turkey. He is ironically at the head of the table.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You guys want to talk about AEW?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get into it. You guys both. Did you watch Rampage or Dynamite or neither or both? Klump.
I watched Dynamite.
You watched Dynamite. You didn't watch Rampage.
Nah, I mean it wasn't bad. I'm trying to watch more AEW to try and get into it because they have enough talent that I do care about that I'm trying to watch it. And Wasn't bad.
All right. Amanda, I know you watched it. You guys go ahead and talk about it. I tried to watch Dynamite. I watched it with the sound off for I think about the first hour, and then I just turned it off.
Well, you missed some things. But
Maybe
going back to Rampage, this week has been such a blur. So much AEW. They did debut Dark in Orlando, so it's kind of a cool little production. I'm pretty sure, just like NXT, they're gonna have the usuals on it. I don't think that they need to bring it to Los Angeles too. I think. I'm just saying, but whatever. But so it's been interesting with CM Punk, and that was the show where two things. One, he was kind of done with, he's done with Darby. So who's next? So guess we're getting Team Taz and CM Punk. And I will say shout out to Will Hobbs, because in my heart, my little black heart, this week on Dynamite, when he threw Punk through that table, I'm like, that was for Cole Cabana. Fuck you, Phil. Okay, I digress. But the one thing that stood out was the Murder Grandpa. I'm still not over Murder Grandpa, by the way. He came back. But yeah, I'm not, no. I know they try to correct themselves, but I don't know. How do you feel about that one, Klump? About them cutting off Kazi Nina.
I'm not happy with the cutoff there, honestly. Though I'm happy he's back, because last week I was rather frustrated with the match. It felt way too fast. It felt like it could have been so much more, and it wasn't put there. So I'm happy to see them extend the feud. I think more can be done with it. I think both talents can do more. So that part has me excited. And almost having them come out, even though it was a blow up at the end, it made it to me better. Like it made like, okay, I can see shit happening. I can see this going well. We're making up for it, because it felt initially just so fucking bad. Like, I don't know, on my face, I was really genuinely frustrated with that match last week.
It didn't seem like, I can agree with you. It didn't seem to me like your normal Minoru Suzuki type of match. It was like watered down in a weird way that, for Gaijin to understand. And if you don't know what Gaijin are or is, not Japanese people.
No, it felt watered down. It felt focused on
Mox rather than Suzuki. And I think that if we're doing this Forbidden Door bullshit, you got to do it right, because eventually we're probably going to see Tano with the good hair coming through. I'd love to see Naito, but we're going to see some of these people. I mean, hell, I really kind of want to see Okada in there, but with Okada, I don't want it Kenny Okada. I do not want that. We've had that a billion times. Don't need it. I'd like to see him with some of the newer people. I don't have a particular person in mind, but I would like to see him work with someone else, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I am loving the tag team, though. Bringing back Suzuki-gun.
Yes.
I did love that. I know I really wanted that. I mentioned on episode 1, because I loved Archer in Suzuki-gun and him teaming with Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith, for those who know him like that. But yeah, no, this was like, it warmed my heart. But then it also made me think, I want if other members of Suzuki-gun are going to show up on AEW eventually. I mean, I have a wish list. I would love to see Zack Sabre Jr. I haven't seen Zack Sabre Jr. live in like 2 years, and I feel like I'm missing a lot. I mean, I love the guy. That guy is amazing. And also, to be fair, I want to hear him on the mic bitching with Ricky. That'd be great. But, and then I think I want Tai Chi as well, because then I can boo him in those stupid rip-off pants. Oh, I'm not going to go into that one, but that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't do it, people. Don't do it. Don't do it. You have this move, it's coming, and you're going to rip off your pants. Don't do it, people. Please, please. No. It's more comical than serious. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. So that's how, how I'm feeling with it. I will say it's very interesting how now they are using Elevation and Dark to kind of boost up the matches you're going to see on Dynamite. Yeah. Because obviously Dark this week had Jade Cargill versus, I don't know who it was, somebody. And then legit Layla Hirsch versus somebody. Obviously they both came out on top. And it was kind of nice to see that and refreshing because one, it was women, and two, it was kind of cool because you're really building something to make it really great. Was I excited about the match? Yes. Did I like the match? Well, it could have gone a little longer, but I was satisfied with what we got. I know. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think overall, I'm excited with more and more pushing people in and showing it. I want to see more diversification. I do think they have more products, and so we're seeing more relevance and more builds with it. So I kind of feel like I need to watch Rampage and even Dark, because I feel like if I watch Dark, all the shit with Brian Pillman would have been such a surprise because he was on Dark a lot.
Yeah.
And it built up a lot of story, and you could keep doing stuff there. It's like, it's their NXT, and they need something like that, because to me, there's a lot of what they do that I love, but it doesn't feel polished. So seeing more of that, I'm in for.
Yeah.
In terms of, just the New Japan stuff, yes, I want to see Zack Sabre. I think he'd be fantastic. I'd like to see, honestly, like, I feel like Juice Robinson would be fantastic out here.
Him and Finley, yeah. Absolutely.
Even just him by himself, he's not a bad single star, but they really kind of just threw that. Basically, I feel like they steamrolled him with Mox. Yeah. And it was a good match. I love the match, but it steamrolled him. Yeah. He'd do great by himself. Okada, I think, would be awesome, though.
You got to find someone really good to work with Okada, because I will tell you this, my opinion, like when he wrestled Marty at All In, I was like, good God, this guy is a slow worker. Marty has a tendency, if they're slow, he's going to be really slow. And, it was good, but it was different in the sense that, yeah.
Well, I worry about Okada in the sense that I feel like if they pulled him in, Okada and Ibushi are going, if either of them, they're going to be immediately put with Kenny because they can't slow build things when they shouldn't. Instead, an option would be, let's put, I got a burrito. Let's put them,
love it.
Like, you have to build other talents and get other people who are away from the elite or this main event into title spots or spots of importance, so that they can be in a spot where they don't have to be near a title and it makes some sense. And or you can build in stories where Okada comes in, fights someone, and builds up, and then Kenny comes in. I really don't like what we've seen where it's one shot goes. What I've liked with Suzuki is that it wasn't that, because I was totally expecting it to be cool. Mox won again, no more. Yeah. So that does have me hopeful and excited.
Yeah, I love that tag team. The thought of that tag team match with Archer and Suzuki versus Kingston and Mox. I think that's going to be pretty killer. Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But what I like now, Klump, because remember how we talked about before in episode 1 about how it feels like you have to watch BTE to understand what's going on. Now I think it's really now, which I think is better, is watching Dark a lot more.
Yes.
Because there is that symbiotic, weird kind of, incestual relationship that I'll call it that happens in there. And sometimes I think that things do get missed or things are amplified. Like, for example, Fuego del Sol. If you are just the casual viewer and watch Dynamite, you're like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't fucking care. Why should I care? But when you watch Dark, it's like, oh yeah, he's like the little engine that could, and you root for him because of that. So, I think that it's good that they're actually doing more wrestling kind of tie-ins than, I have to watch the these stupid vlogs or whatever. So I think that's pretty good. I will say that MJF is getting kind of stale. Don't know about you. I don't know.
I was going to jump into this. I didn't want to go segment by segment, but
yeah,
I'm done with MJF, and I've really tried to push him for a long time as a performer because I like how he goes outside of the business and does it. But, and I'm going to compare him to Baron Corbin here because I view Corbin as like the MJF of WWE. He is through and through a heel, and it works out. Or even the Miz. Well, Miz is best as a heel.
Yeah. Miz is always best as a heel.
Yeah, if you make him a face, it sucks. But MJF, as good as he is at being a heel outside of it, he harkens back to old school heels like Rick Rude or Flair. I feel like I'm watching a tribute band to like an all-time great. He's not creative. He's not doing enough. He's not pushing anything.
No.
How many times can you come out and make a shit reference to the city you're in where it gets tiring? And I feel like
everyone
you could
hillbillies.
Yes.
Yep.
Do more. Do something different. This is the armpit of this. Just do something different. If you're going to do that, but don't make it feel like you've thought of this 5 minutes before you came out. Do some research into something. Pick someone in the crowd.
I'll say they're inbred. It'll work.
Yeah. Go after just talent. Fuck the crowd. I'd love if he came out, I'd love him coming out saying, I was going to make fun of this fucking town, but I'm too busy. I got bigger fish to fry and going into someone. But it feels
I
like...
will say, though, we did talk about this briefly. I don't know if you saw any of SmackDown, but I discovered yesterday that when Sami Zayn brought up Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks, and he said, he's wearing a Knicks jersey, which is basketball, they say. He's wearing New York Knicks basketball jersey and says, I'm bringing out someone who knows how to win in Madison Square Garden, and brought out Trae Young, who is apparently the basketballer himself that apparently went on like a Michael Jordan-like tear in a battle against the Knicks in MSG.
Yes.
Where he defeated them so soundly it was embarrassing. That kind of crowd work I like because it's a little bit like fuck.
Well,
yeah.
Kevin Owens and Elias in Seattle talking about the Seattle Supersonics and losing them. The fucking
and the way
booze.
They did it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like Seattle's having a basketball team. It makes no sense. And everyone just...
Yeah, Kevin Owens is a great heel. Sami Zayn's an amazing heel. Elias, Corbin. Shit, even Elias kind of has the same, or had the same beats when he'd come out and talk shit to a town. But he still did it different enough where he'd go to the talent, or he'd talk about it, or he'd make it into a lyric of the song, and it'd work. And it was varied enough. But MJF, it's just it's like a remix of one promo, and I'm honestly tired of it. I really truly am. It's just enough is enough. I feel like what he did this week, going off on and talking about Pillman, I get the intent, but I feel like, well, one, that takes you from being a shitty heel to like somebody that I feel is pretty fucking evil, and they don't mesh well. You know, it's like they're close, like they're both evil, but it's a different type of bad guy, and it doesn't work out for me. You know, it doesn't stick. Like if somebody makes it just doesn't land right. It was just like, I don't get this. And also, honestly, if you trimmed off the crowd work from MJF segments, they'd be significantly better because his promos go so fucking long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Let me throw this out here. Because I did see that promo. I did see the MJF promo. Now that you mention it, I heard it too. I think I watched it on their Instagram because I watched their clips to see what they think is important. And it's always funny to me what they think is important is not what you guys tell me is the best stuff on the show. However,
I'm not even at Hobbs yet. I kind of mentioned it.
You're not there yet. But in this promo, here's what I'm going to throw at you, Klump. Tell me what you think. Here's what I thought hearing that promo. The thing about MJF and the character is that everyone around him pushes that the guy is actually an asshole so hard in a company in which everyone clearly is fucking off and playing around and taking nothing seriously, that it shows his hand right away. Oh, he's one of the nicest fucking guys. The idea that everyone talks about how they hate him. The idea that on Stone Cold's podcast, he even ran a skit where he throws him out was so over the top forceful. This guy's an asshole, but he's on everyone's show when he wasn't a name. He was an up and comer that no one heard of, and he was showing up on all this stuff. It gave it away. So to me, his whole fucking gimmick of being a guy who's not actually a gimmick is the biggest gimmick. So when you're on a show where everything is particularly goofy and silly and not serious, that when he goes out there and says the things he says, you know he's saying it to get that, quote, real heel heat from a crowd who has no real intent. And that's what made it uncomfortable to me, is you're making abortion jokes because you think that other people will think you're an asshole when it's been made very clear by everyone around you that you're actually a really nice guy and you're trying to say a thing that you think is shitty, and that's almost shittier.
100%. Like it, and again, in part, I feel like it's the tongue-in-cheekness of it.
Yes.
But there's a point to, I'm kind of done with it. Like, there's different ways to do it. There's more to it. Shit. Right now, the Young Bucks and Kenny are doing MJF's gimmick better than him, and I kind of believe they're assholes.
Yeah.
It feels like they're toning it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that, yeah.
And there's
feel like
nothing
that should be...
that MJF is saying that feels like it's not scripted. Everything he says feels so scripted. So that when he says it, you don't go like, oh, he said a thing he shouldn't have. You go, no, that's probably what he told him he was going to say, and he said it.
I do wonder this. So, was I mistaken, or did he call Brian Pillman Jr.'s mom Methany?
Yeah, Methany. This is not the first time he's done it.
That's fucked. I get that's the thing where they kind of talked about substance abuse issues in it, and I'm sure they probably clear with her, but that's fucked to me.
Yeah, you don't do that. There are certain things you don't do. And
I feel like, good.
You don't do it, but it's like the idea of you don't do it, so he did it to get the heat, only works in an environment where it actually feels realistic, and nothing about his character feels realistic.
It feels like
neither was his scarf for a while.
Yeah, I know. Good. It feels like a open mic comedian who really likes Anthony Jeselnik, or who thinks the humor is purely in the darkness of it, saying the most outrageous, fucked up, offensive shit they can, and it doesn't. Again, it doesn't really line up with everything else.
Yeah.
Just it I don't know. It landed weird to me. I was really not a fan. Last week, to the extent that I actually got bored and rewrote MJF's promo.
Oh yeah. You mentioned that. You can go ahead and if you want to do a thing with it, you can.
Nah, I'm good. It was more or less like I cut out the city stuff. I focused crowd work on to me, like I cut the city stuff to a line, and then I focused crowd work to the individual and talking about Jericho and what he did, and it's over. And when Pillman came out, and the only reason I left a line in there was Pillman coming out because it's Cincinnati, but then I focused it toward have it be a thing between them, just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah,
but yeah,
which also works too. The Cincinnati thing worked because then by acknowledging that Pillman is from Cincinnati, the same way that Mox is going to be acknowledging he's from Cincinnati, it gives inadvertently or maybe indirectly is the right term, Brian Pillman that Moxley rub of, hey man, these are your boys, which is not bad.
Yeah, I think what would have been better, and this I don't know, I don't write this shit, but Tony, I'm just telling you, this would have been better because you're in New Jersey and there's all this shit. Where was the fucking bad boy? Where's fucking Janela at? Because I could see him like, whoa, coming out like, who the fuck are you? And, obviously, he'll job for, MJF, whatever. But, that would have been nice. And with like Pillman kind of running in, somehow and trying to, help Janela out, that would have been great. But, didn't happen. And I'm like, that would have been, I think, better for MJF because then it's like, okay, it's something different. It's not the same bullshit we see every week.
Yeah. I mean, beyond that too, like, so beyond MJF going way too far in a shitty way, I feel like over and over again we kept hearing them reference Brian Pillman and like, oh, he would have been disappointed in you. Like even Taz and Brian himself being like, yeah, he would have been disappointed in what I did or shocked. And that shit didn't really line up to me because as far as I remember from the mythology and story of Brian Pillman, he was the loose cannon who kind of pushed himself away from wrestling. So I don't think he'd give a shit. I think he'd maybe be like, you think that but he's probably proud I'm working the crowd. I don't know. I don't know if that character and that legacy works in a space where you're trying to create like a genuine supportive mythology. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't make sense if you're trying to like make this story like it's not Eddie Guerrero, where you say like he's looking down on us. It's like the guy worked the business. I don't think he's looking down proud of you for the fight. Is that off base? You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, so that sucked.
Yeah. No, well, I can't. I'll be fans, but but yeah, no, it's really old. I mean, that's getting old. Omega's getting old. At least Bryan Danielson's bringing something to it. The Bucks, I'm glad they lost the title.
I'm excited for whatever Daniel Bryan does after Kenny Omega, to be honest.
Yes, that too.
I have zero interest in what he's doing with Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
If Bryan wins on this, did you guys notice that this coming up Dynamite, they have Bryan Danielson against Kenny Omega and Ruby Soho against Britt Baker? Those are like two fucking pay-per-view matches on a Dynamite for sure.
Yep.
Well, the Dynamite is not going to be for a title.
Yeah.
Both. I think the Ruby is.
The women's is, yeah.
Ruby,
but I think they're going to build both up, which is fine.
Yeah. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying I'm kind of surprised, and I don't know how to feel about it other than is it in a big city? Like, where is it that makes it like, hey, we should be doing
Arthur Ashe Stadium.
It's the New York one. It's the big deal.
The New York one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you get it.
Okay.
Well, and also I feel like I kind of have appreciated that AEW's done less pay-per-views and more of these like weird hybrid ones where they're on TNT, because let's face it, their pay-per-view buys other than on like a pay-per-view have not been doing probably great online, because fuck, $50 for this when it's $10 on the network. I think it's better to make it special events on your channels. Like, we're gonna do this on TBS or TNT primetime this during this spot. I think that's a smarter idea in my eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Versus $50 a pop for a pay-per-view, or $30 or $20 for like these little shitty ones. The AEW in your house.
Yeah. No,
But
I agree.
yeah, that's what I keep thinking. But yeah, I think they're gonna both build to something longer, which I'm not opposed to if they do it. I question them doing it because it seems very much that they're big on feeding someone to Kenny or feeding someone to their champ. I'll go beyond Kenny to their champ, and then they're fucking nowhere near that title for a long time.
Yeah. No, I agree. Anything else on the AEW front that you guys are happy about, excited about? To be honest, I'm in my mind, just as a quick side note, 6 months from now is what I'm excited for AEW. I feel like we have to barrel through a few things to get to where we're going, but I feel like in 6 months, it could easily become a show that I'm watching consistently again.
Well, yeah.
Good.
Hold on, real quick. Let me do this before you guys say what you're gonna say. There was a bunch of YouTube chatter. I'm just gonna say this: Windex Wipes was in there saying a few things, none of which was productive, positive, or useful. At the end of the day, he did say, "I know you see this," and I will say that the YouTube chatter we don't see as well. If you do want to be seen right away every time and be read alongside with that, twitch.tv/wrestling on the rocks is probably the way to go. But otherwise, if you're saying the kind of things he was saying, you might not get read. So he does say he wants the card. So if you send me a DM on that Bobby Fish card, I'll sell it to you. So go ahead. What were you guys saying about AEW?
Oh, go ahead, Klump.
Okay. Well, otherwise, I feel like the show, I wasn't too mad at CM Punk on commentary until the weird shit with Taz, because it was just so awkward and weird. And Taz, it wasn't CM Punk, it was everyone around the situation just made it weird and bad. He really wasn't bad to me. The FTR match was a fantastic match, both for them and for Matt Sydal and what the hell's his name? I was really happy with that. I was happy with that. I honestly wasn't too mad at it overall, especially compared to what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, and yes, I agree that CM Punk thing and Taz was a little bit weird, but then of course, what's coming out of it is, to me, really, it hits me here, just because this is someone that I know and someone I've seen wrestle for like 6 years, and struggled. And there are people that I know that are in the Bay Area, and you all know who you are, who was like, why do you like Hobbs? Why do you think that he's going to be something big? And look at him now. Next Friday, he's going to wrestle fucking CM Punk. I would have never imagined that, and I'm like, oh. And then Hook, I'm like, when the fuck are you going to wrestle, little guy? Come on,
Okay.
But
to be devil's advocate, you just said Will Hobbs is big time because he's going to wrestle CM Punk. But Hook is also on the forefront to wrestle CM Punk, and he's literally had no matches and has done nothing, and he's a goddamn child. So
yeah, I know.
Wrestling CM Punk right now in AEW is not this holy grail. I mean, it is to the talent. I'm not going to disregard that.
Yeah.
It is to the talent. To wrestle CM Punk right now is a holy grail of, oh shit, this never could have happened.
And this
absolutely is important. But the idea of having a match with CM Punk in and of itself is not important if somebody the likes of Hook, who has proven zero to anyone, getting a match with him then it becomes clear that it's either nepotism or unimportant. You know what I mean? Those are your options.
I don't want him to have a match with CM Punk. No. I mean, him just wrestling in general, other people, like, Fuego del Sol and shit like that on Dark, he's not nowhere near should be on these TV things unless he's like walking with somebody. Now, what's going to be interesting next Dynamite is CM Punk's going to be in an interview. I don't know if it's one that's going to be live and somebody's going to have a live microphone and, whatever, because he's been very, very hidden from all of this stuff, is Ricky. And I'm waiting for that. And that right there, if he doesn't like explode into the universe after him and CM Punk, then you know what? Honestly, there's no hope. There's no hope for him. And I say this, and that's someone that is a friend of mine. And no, there is no hope. Seriously. Like, no, you're never going to be a main eventer. So, you can tell him I said it too, because it's the truth. I mean, is what it is. But I do think that with CM Punk, he's going through people a little bit fast, because now Darby, all of a sudden, him and Sting have a new thing. And aren't they wrestling like what, FTR?
They're with that group of people, like the Pinnacle.
Yeah, the Pinnacle. Yeah. I thought that was kind of weird. But FTR's been rocking it lately. Yes. So I think they're underused. But I'm enjoying them and Tully. So I could use less Sean Spears, speaking of the Pinnacle. just no more Sean Spears, please. So, but it's getting good, Marsh. I think, if you watch a little bit more instead of the clips, I think that if you selective watch some of the matches, you'll enjoy it. Like Malachi Black versus Cody. That one, to me, is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cody's not been a letdown. I feel they are finding more talent and giving them more space, so it's getting better. Because there's periods where it's like, I don't know who the fuck's good other than people who work together a lot.
Yeah.
I really liked FTR. I really liked the other team in the match. I think they worked well together, but I don't think the only spot I found sloppy was actually a fuck up by FTR to me.
Yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about.
Where he scoots his ass on the apron to kick. I'm like, that would look way cooler if you were right there. But
didn't miss your spot.
They worked well. It looked great. Both teams looked good. So I was overall pretty happy with it. I also feel because of the amount of people that they have, an influx of talent, it's not that we're now, it was before we'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not seeing these people on TV. We're only focusing on like these 5 people. God, that's annoying. And you get just tired of the shit. We have people that they're focusing on, and then there's good talent that don't have to be on every week. So it is a mix-up, which I like. It feels like a more stacked roster of people that they can depend on. So I'm down for that.
Yeah. I think we need to chill on Sting and Darby, though. I do think for a little bit. I think we do. I mean, I don't know. That's one I think we need to chill with. MJF. Someone needs to just beat the shit out of him.
MJF needs some time away.
Give him time away. And,
I do
I
believe,
think
for me personally, and I really liked MJF coming in. I wasn't as impressed as a lot of people, but I thought, hey, there's a lot here. I do feel like that he's got to get the stink of Jericho off of him, and it's still there. I feel like him being paired with Jericho was one of the worst things that could have happened to him. It's completely, not only has it cooled him off, it's made him look ridiculous, and a lot of his shit has become campy and corny and canned, and it's I think a break would be very good.
Yeah, and I think him on the mic hides the fact that he's really that good of a wrestler. Let's face it, it's just on mic. In my opinion.
No. Well, with him in particular, because he is a heel, it feels like every match is going to end in some bullshit. Which, I get that. That's cool. But you do pull away from things. And again, so much feels very one note.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
As far as like CM Punk being on commentary and shit, how did that work out?
Well,
It wasn't bad. I mean, he was better. To me, he was better than Jericho.
yeah.
That's okay.
I know low bar, but he wasn't bad. He was aware of matches. He was pretty there. So I was cool with it. And I didn't think he was bad. Honestly,
No.
I was him over Excalibur because he also had a really decent rapport with everyone and made jokes with everyone that worked out. So it worked. I was happy with it. Him over Taz.
Yeah. Yeah. Excalibur and Taz are I think the good pairing together. They work well together. But with Punk, remember he for the long time was doing commentary and sitting there, with who was it, Michael Cole?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he did it for a long time, rocking his Colt Cabana shirt back then in the day. Just saying. But it's fine. The guy's a talker. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you had put someone like, I don't know, that would be really obnoxious. Like
Orange Cassidy.
He falls asleep. He's done commentary already. Haven't you seen it?
No.
Yeah, he's done it twice. And he's fallen asleep. He puts his feet on the desk and then, and they ask him, some more? And no answer. But I think that definitely they need it. I don't know what happened to Anthony Ogogo, but I thought he was really good on commentary.
That's a good point.
Don't know what happened
for a bit.
Yeah. So now the UK can't leave the UK. So now it makes me wonder, speaking of Brits, so is Pac here, living in the States? Or was he going back and forth? Because that's not happening right now for the foreseeable future.
Good point. I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend I know.
I'm just curious because he's been in some really great, had some really great matches lately, and that's a bummer if that goes away. Just like with the pandemic, it's like that went away. So because I really kind of want to see him and Danielson. I don't know why, but I don't know. Sounds good to me. But
anything else about AEW you guys want to throw out there? Things you guys are excited about or anything like that?
I'm excited for next week because there's some really great matches. And I think they're going to deliver. I just hope that when they are decided that they're not allergic to the West Coast, is we get something big too. Just saying.
Klump, I want to know from you as of right now, were you much of a CM Punk fan while he was in WWE?
Yeah, I was a pretty decent fan. I wasn't watching it a lot, but everything I've looked back and seen, I liked, and I know why. It's actually funny. What reminded me of it was a pretty god awful Reddit thing where they were comparing wrestlers to porn stars.
Nice.
Yeah, it was CM Punk was different in an era that needed it at every point. Sure. And I like that. He was different. I think he's polarizing. I don't think he's the absolute best at anything. I think he's a pretty damn decent all-rounder. I think as a talker, he is fucking great. But I mean, I also think that as a talker, he would be best served as a heel because he wouldn't exist if he wouldn't exist and be what he was if he didn't exist in a point where people, it seemed like the fan base was palpably annoyed with the McMahons at a point where they weren't aware of it, where they were just trying to do so much to be a positive and they couldn't seem to, it seems so inconsistent, if that makes sense,
Sure. But So if you enjoyed him then, and this isn't like a dig on anybody who likes CM Punk. My brother loves CM Punk. It's one of his absolute favorites. He was super excited about this. And I was like, great, I don't like CM Punk. That's not a big deal. I love the discourse. That's why we do this. That's why I wanted you here, Klump, because you and I would argue at work about wrestling all day long given the opportunity. And that's what made it so good, is at the end of the day, we still wanted to sit down and have a drink together, have a smoke together, non-alcoholic. Obviously, we wanted to be around each other. That's the idea. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that you enjoyed CM Punk before, and you're seeing CM Punk now. Are you enjoying the CM Punk of AEW as much as you're enjoying the CM Punk of WWE? Is it that same level of excitement? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not
you could lean into this or not, or you could go the other way. With CM Punk there, Daniel Bryan there, Adam Cole there, a year ago, AEW was really frustrating for you because your favorites were Kenny Omega and Young Bucks in Japan. They came over, and there was a huge shift in that. As you're seeing the introduction of these people who have been favorites of yours through the years, are you starting to really warm up to AEW right now?
Good question.
I'm getting to where I'm happier with it. In part, I think I'll say this. I've come to accept that there's going to be a built-in silliness to it that at times is frustrating, and I've had to get over that. But more, I think what frustrated me then so much was it was this built-in silliness from people who up to this point were silly, but it had pretty awesome, stellar, serious matches. And they weren't fucking trying. It was the production. It was the behind-the-stage stuff where it was like, why the fuck are we doing these matches again and again and again? Why is it nothing's ending in a real match? So that was getting to me. Now I'm feeling more excitement because of the talent overall. I am incredibly excited for Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole. I'm excited for CM Punk. I don't think CM Punk's going to be around for long. I think he's going to switch to something else, whatever it might be. I don't think he's doing bad.
Okay.
I think it's a great pop, and it's kind of like a Hulk Hogan for a certain set of fans. That's what I would think of him as. But beyond those people, I see so much that has been built up that I could see a diverse pool of matches where you have people that can do quick things, slow things, and make it a better show. I still think we need to get a little bit more away from the silliness. No, take it seriously.
Well put.
It's still real, damn it.
Yeah. Still real to
You
me.
might- I think
go
you-
to ProWrestlingTees.com and look up Dave Wills. You can find Still Real to Me, Damn It t-shirts officially from the crying wrestling fan himself, Dave Wills. T-shirt designs by yours truly. So check them out, guys. Support.
Yeah. I think you probably owe Dave some kind of royalty for using his line. I'm
I don't owe him royalty. I designed all his t-shirts.
No,
I'm telling
I
you, for
meant
sure.
Klump.
Go to his site. All 3 of his t-shirts designed by me.
no. Wow, rare. No, I meant Klump, not you. Gosh.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, Klump. I said Klump,
Yeah, that's a good point,
not
Klump.
you. You already did your part.
Yeah. Although, Klump, I do think you would really enjoy if you go to the Pro Wrestling Tees for Life or ProWrestlingTees.com and look up Dave Wills. There is the Still Real to Me, Damn It t-shirt in the ECW style. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Friend of the show.
I'm looking that up.
For sure.
Yeah, I miss
absolutely friend of
being
the show.
around Dave. I miss being around him.
Yo, the CWF show that was in Atlanta, there was a chance I had to go to there, and it was all reliant on the fact that I messaged Dave and said, if I make it to Atlanta, can I crash on your couch? And he said, there's a few ways we can make this work, all of which make my lady upset, but I'm going to do it for the boys. You tell me when you get here, we'll take care of it. I was like, I fucking goddamn love Dave.
Yeah, God damn it.
He's a good dude.
That's
Absolute friend of the show. And then the trip ended up not happening, and he said, okay, all good. But it was the whole thing where he's like, I have a number of ways we can try to make this work. And he goes, all of which will get me in trouble. All of the trouble I'm willing to get into, because he's like, you're one of the boys now. And I was like, this is so good, man. So,
but you also know that you have a plan another plan. You can
Yeah.
always bug me, say, Amanda.
Yeah. No, we were looking at all options. I think I looked at even that option as well. There was a number of things that came in the way, but yeah, that was definitely it was definitely there. So, but 100%, Dave Wills, friend of the show, crying wrestling fan, the original, good guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of crying wrestling fans, did you see that they found him and he met CM Punk?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. It was really cool. I enjoyed stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I thought that was cool. But then 2 seconds later, my black heart said, "Fuck that guy." Not
Well,
the
there's part of me
crying
that said that too, but I still really liked it. I was like, this is awesome, but fuck that dude. It should have been me.
He does no good in my heart. Pay your fucking ex-best friend. Okay?
Yeah.
Fucking pay him.
Anything else for AEW? You guys want to talk about NXT?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to be pissed.
Ready
Yep.
to get into it? Let's get into it. Guys,
Yep.
NXT 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, 2.0.
We're not on that train.
I did
Obviously.
find it a little unusual the amount of times that Vic Joseph said 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it a
Yeah.
little unusual that the logo literally says 2.0.
I found
Yeah.
it. I found it a tad bit frustrating that I watched 2 episodes of Dynamite this week, and Dynamite was the better episode of Dynamite than this.
Ooh.
Dude,
Talk about it.
I can go segment by segment frustrated
We
because
will.
yeah, let's start.
Let's start. All right, I'm going to start with this. Here, I'm going to say this. We're going to get into the show. This is what I'm excited about, Klump. You remember this morning I texted you, I said, did you watch NXT? And remember 2 days ago I said, you have to watch all of NXT.
Yeah,
And you said,
Because
okay,
you
I'm
knew I
going
was
to do
gonna
it.
be like fuck everything.
I don't know. I didn't know. But what I did know is when I messaged you today, I said, did you watch it? You said, yeah, I'm pretty fucking pissed about it all. And I was like, this is going to be a great conversation. And let me tell you why. I'm going to lay it out right now. If you listened to episode 1 yesterday, I told Kevlar, for some reason, I felt like Kevlar would love this version of NXT 2.0. When I asked him if he'd watch it, he said, you know what? I thought new NXT, I'm going to check it out. He started watching it. He said, I fucking loved it. And I said, I fucking loved it too.
Oh,
This was my favorite NXT in 6 months. Here's the deal, though. We're going to break it down. We're going to go through it because what I love the most right now is that I loved NXT the other night more than I've loved almost any NXT in a year. And both of you guys hated NXT. So we're going to have a really good conversation of what made it shitty, what made it good. Or even from perspective, right? So let's start with the opening segment. Here's what I felt. Overall, just the look of it. Let's break it down a little bit. The look of it.
yeah, I
watching
like
this
the
show.
look and design of it. I like the set tremendously. I like the way the crowd set up. I think that's fucking great. I really like the studio. I love the intro or the color. I fucking love that. I love the theme.
That's
Then
awesome,
it
dude.
began.
Okay, fair. All that's fair. I love that you liked the look because a lot of people I've seen have criticisms be like, was this made in MS Paint? And I was like, oh, do you know what paint means? Is that what it is? You know one word paint? I love all that stuff, the look of it. This is what I thought just from a visual standpoint of the show. It looked a lot like a big Impact show from back in the day. It looked a lot like, to me, a small WWE show where before now it looked like a big VFW show. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It looked like a
I
real
agree
big
with
shitty
that.
show visually. And now it looks like a small big show.
It looked like a real big shitty show. Yeah, I know. It
100%.
did look like the most expensive armory you've ever done a show in.
Exactly. 100%. Now, before we move on, Amanda, what did you think about it visually?
Amanda's not here. Let me keep going.
Keep going.
It did also. It made me think of lighting wise and set wise. It looked like a game show, which I really liked.
Okay.
It had the lighting and style to me of a game show. Again, this part so far is okay, this is fucking cool. I'm a fan of this. I like this.
100%.
Yeah,
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Before we move forward, I just realized we missed a comment from Bishop earlier. He goes, I think MJF is the best example at their inability to create stars. He is beloved, but so young and talented, he should consistently be rising, not stagnant.
I agree with
100%. I can't disagree with that at all. He's 100%. the perfect example of failure of that system. And Brian Cage is also, I think, a tremendous example of that, because Brian Cage, everywhere he's ever been, has been like main eventing, and here he is, not only not even mid-carding, but mostly dark. And then he says, I'm tapping out. I'll let you know if episode shows up on my podcast feed. Cheers to Bishop. I appreciate it. Go to twtakepodcast.com/twts for your comfortable t-shirts and put in the promo code DIVEBAR for an additional 25% off. And as long as we're talking about a couple of good deals before we get on, because I believe Amanda's back to talk about her take on it, I want to just say Flow State Coffee is also a sponsor of our show today. They are specialty grade coffee with L-theanine and rocket cacao for productivity and creativity. It gives you better energy, focus, and mood than a regular cup of coffee while decreasing the negative side effects like anxiety and blood pressure. If you go to newwave.co, that's NOOWAVE.co, put in the promo code CHEERS, you can get 10% off whatever deal they got going on right now. And if you give Greg a follow, if you go to newwave.com, you'll see Greg making a bunch of posts there too. He's awesome to follow, fun dude. He's looking to spend some money on some smaller businesses and give them reviews. So I suggest hitting him up there because he's a really good dude, independent wrestler. So he's one of us. All good, all good. Amanda, visually speaking, about NXT, just from a new visual standpoint, what did you think of it?
It's very bright.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. It bothered my eyes. That, and for me, I was like, what the fuck is this? Right? At first, I'm like, is this a joke? Is it going to be 2.0? Is it going to be retro? You know what? I don't understand.
Uh-huh.
A lot of neon, a lot of white, a lot of shit going on. I don't mind that they changed the set and everything. I don't know. I mean, I don't, the indie look, whatever. High budget indie, whatever. It doesn't matter. But this one was like, what the hell are you doing? Because I don't know. I thought that, and I was under the impression with the logo that had the last logo with the bones or whatever, the skull
skulls on it, yeah.
The skulls on it. Yeah, I thought, maybe it's going to be, a little bit more, I don't know, like a little more innovative, outside the box, kind of maybe Lucha Underground kind of style. Because that's, I think, cool. And they did it well. And I think that, people really, were drawn to that. I know I was. That's what made it interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And so I guess
the production of Lucha Underground was impeccable.
And yeah, it was just great. And I know people don't like Matt Striker, but Teach, great on commentary there.
Yes.
Yeah. But so I was very disappointed. And I just was like, God, there's a lot of neon. I'm like, okay, is this I'll watch it with no judgment. But as it progressed, there was judgment.
Okay, so let's get into it. The opening segment, Klump, am I missing something you want to throw in there real quick?
No, let's get to this motherfucker.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. They had Tommaso Ciampa cut a promo. They had Pete Dunne cut a fucking promo, and these motherfuckers sound like mean motherfuckers who are here to cut your balls off, chew them up, and spit them in your own mouth. Then you had Kyle O'Reilly who went, it's always good to get the opportunity like this when you're in business. It seems like a good thing to do.
16 years I've been doing this to get to the middling title.
Yep. Yes.
Fuck off.
And then and then
Go,
it cuts
go,
to
go.
LA Knight doing his best rock impression of nah, let me talk to you, and cutting a fucking pro wrestling promo on his ass. I don't know why you would sandwich Kyle O'Reilly between three of the greatest promos in the business right now, but they did, and it made Kyle O'Reilly seem like a weenie.
Yep.
He is a weenie. You didn't need that.
He is. No, that was when I liked this setup of promos. The way they did it, I thought it looked cool. The way the cameras were set up, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I like this. This
Visually,
is really good. Yeah, it looks great. Sounds good. You could tell they set it up, rehearsed it, and were ready to go. This is good scripting. Good.
Yeah.
We got time to take takes.
Yep.
Kyle O'Reilly was like, this is not just the babyface promo, this is a shitty babyface promo. And
Poindexter.
it felt like we did everyone else's, and we were like, oh shit, we got to do Kyle's. Yo, we got one take. We're out of camera. We're out of film. We still use film. We need you to go. We only got this much. Get it the fuck done. But you got to be good, and you got to be a babyface. And it was just boring as fuck.
Yeah.
They filmed it and they said, "Is that the best you can do?" He goes, "I definitely cannot do better than that." They go, "Really?"
I
Okay.
feel that it got sandwiched in between the guys because it sucked that hardcore.
I think so too.
I mean, and it would have stood out if he was last or first. So what do? You just throw him in between people. But
it had to end with LA Knight because of the shit talk he did on Braun, which led into the match. So it had to end there. But it had to start strong to get you into it. And I agree with you 100%. They saw the Kyle thing and goes, this guy's a fucking pencil neck geek. We got to just throw him in there after the
Horrible
two dudes
hair.
talk mad shit. And after LA Knight talks himself into a corner, we have to do, because otherwise, you're right. If they started with him, you'd be like, what the fuck am I watching already?
And you
if
would
they ended with him, you'd been like, what? Go ahead.
I would have turned it off. But also, with LA Knight ending it, I thought that was perfect because of how he delivers his promos. And I think that it worked really well because it kind of was masking the bullshit we had just seen. And I was like, okay, I can be fine about this now.
Yeah.
Now that Kyle,
That is one where I almost wish there was a watch along of producer when we were watching that, because we rewatched it today. She hadn't seen the promos. She'd come in partway through the show and missed the promos, and we rewatched it today with the opening promos. She's watching it, and you could see her face. She's like into what Ciampa's saying, into what Pete Dunne's saying. He's like, I'm going to prove it. And she was like, fuck yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, prove me wrong. And then Kyle O'Reilly starts talking, and you see her face go like, what the fuck? And then as soon as LA Knight starts talking, she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Her face just turned around and she was back into it. He does the whole thing wide-eyed, talks shit. Braun Breaker's right there, and he's all fucking hyped up and jacked. And then LA Knight's like, I'm a fucking spoon feed you like a little baby, little bitch. He calls him a fucking cross-eyed dipshit or something. It was fucking crazy for whatever he's called him. And I loved it. Go ahead.
Okay, first thing I didn't like. I am okay with the Braun Breaker intro. I thought it was cool, trying to step up. I was like, oh, cool, we're going to do 2 matches for this dude tonight? Okay. Interesting. But things felt foul as this started. I knew things were not going well at this point for Eric's view of wrestling. So I'll throw this out now because it's going to get more so. So then after that match,
wait. So what do you think about the match?
I thought the match was good. I was like, oh shit, LA Knight lost. Okay. That's like, and don't get me wrong, Braun Breaker, I was like, holy shit, this dude's good. And I didn't know he was a Steiner until after. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah, and Vic Joseph at one point said he's got a dog-faced gremlin way about him, and I was like, that's fucking clever and funny. My only problem, because a lot of people were talking shit about the Braun Breaker name, the name he had for a bit was Rex Steiner, which is a good name, Rex Steiner. I'm not one of the people who says every name the WWE gives someone is just shitty, garbage bullshit. Like, that's a fucking stupid tripe argument, and it's objective at best. I would say there's no way this guy's... Rex Steiner's better in the idea of this. I would give him the last name Steiner. End of story. Whatever you want to call him. Rex, Braun, Allen, whatever it is. If it ends in Steiner, you're fine, because there's no way this guy's going through his career without them eventually acknowledging his father as Rick Steiner.
Oh, there's a lot of heat between the Steiners and WWE. They can go pretty far with that, champ.
What do you think so?
Oh yeah, there is. Like, don't play coy. There's, especially Scott, there's some heat there. Also, I honestly think the reason they did it is so Rex Steiner is very close to what their real last name is. The Steiner's last name is Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah. Which I thought was part of the point of it all. But at the end of the day, my only qualm with it is the last name's not Steiner. And at the end of the day, he's not going to get 5 years down the line without that coming up. So at some point it's going to be like, oh, you're Steiner's kid. Why is your name Breaker? You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like he's doing Braun Breaker for NXT, but when he gets to the main roster, he's going to be Rex Steiner, is what I feel like. But I don't know.
Possibly.
But the match I thought was a fucking great match by both of them. And what I loved about it, and what I liked about LA Knight losing, was that as much as I love LA Knight, and you guys know it, I've gone on and on about it, I love that his mouth talked himself into a fight he couldn't handle.
yes.
That's
I'm
some
okay with
heel
that.
shit. It was
Yep.
heel shit. And it helps build the story for the end of the night on why LA Knight might not win the match at the end of the night, because he's already talked himself to a fight he couldn't handle, and now he's already off kilter when he gets into the main.
Yep.
So then what happened after the match? Well, is there anything about that match you want to talk about, Amanda, that we missed?
No, I did think it was a great match. I will say that Braun's singlet, I was like, oh my god, with the background, I'm like, no, my head hurt.
Yeah.
It still does thinking about it. I was just like,
I thought he was Mr. NXT.
Mm-hmm.
that too. Yeah.
I'm sure
I
he
mean-
had that gear before they did that, but there was a part of me that thought that looks a little 2.0 to me.
It did
Yeah,
feel.
that's why I was like, come on. You know, are we that stupid of people? Do you think we're that stupid? Wrestling fans? No.
I think it's more
No.
coincidental than you give it credit. Or are you going to say, Klump?
I was gonna say, I feel like this is the beginning of me. Like my sense of it all through was either that, yeah, Vince and Bruce came in and like, why the fuck are you pushing these people? These people are better, and just kind of switched everything up. Or
Yeah.
two, they read everything about people saying how bad it's gonna be when they get in there, and I'd like the fantasy book that said, oh, we're gonna show you. We got all these people. You got your Finn Balor's, your Kyle O'Reilly's, your this, your that. Fuck them all. You're gonna see them in a wedding.
Yeah, they were in a wedding. What did you think after the match, Klump? You were on a tear. Keep going.
Okay, so this guy, who I don't know, but now know, beats LA Knight, who's in a fatal 4-way match
Mhm.
for the title. Why is he not more prominently featured in another match later on instead of a guy who looks like a fucking Neanderthal?
So here's the deal. Well, for one, it would have been very interesting if he then walked over to Regal and said, "Hey, I beat your guy in there. Put me in that same match."
Yes.
Cool. However, they did build story with Braun afterwards. Once Ciampa won, and we'll get to that, there was a stare down between Braun and Ciampa, and Braun saying, "I'm gonna take that fucking title off you little piece of shit, old man," without
You
saying
could
those
have
words.
done that in the match too, of him getting this close and having it be a thing.
Or
But-
you can build the anticipation of the match and not have to tease it yet. You can tease it a whole other way. Because now we can get multiple rematches where if we had it now where the 4-way where he goes toe-to-toe with Ciampa one-on-one, now we know what we're getting and we're going to get a larger one. Now you can start over by not having any interaction with the two of them. You can have 2 or 3 matches of them and it's going to make sense. I'm not saying it's perfect or the only way, but it's a way.
It is the way, which we'll get to them later too.
Oh God, no, please no. Oh God, don't start.
I'm just saying it makes sense. You can do it this way where you keep them apart, so now you can lead into 3 matches, as opposed to having half of a match already.
Yeah, but you could have done that, yes, but then not removed a motherfucker from the match and put a. I'm not as mad at that as why was he not then put in? Instead, we get another new asshole who I fucking don't know who he is in it. Who's got like a sloped out like. Where is what cave did this fuck walk out of?
I
And
was
what is
certain
his
he was
name?
going to sell us Geico, for sure. This guy was definitely about to sell me some Geico.
He just had a sitcom that lasted 8 episodes.
Yeah. Grim
Well,
Reaper
you know
coming
what
through the
I-
chat real quick. We're going to go right to you, Amanda, but Grim Reaper just saying, sorry if you talked about it already, but HBK was in the gorilla position during all of NXT. I read that as well. Here's the other thing. There was all the rigmarole dirt sheet rumors that Vince and Bruce were taking over NXT, and they've all since been debunked. And what it turns out is that they just were going to have a little bit more eyes on NXT, more say on NXT, but they weren't going to be producing it and directing it and all that other shit. That was still going to remain under Triple H HBK. Triple H having all of his health issues, which, if you haven't heard it yet, Pro Wrestling for Life with Sean X-Pac Waltman podcast, he talks about the interaction he had with Triple H, the importance of Triple H. Very great segment at the top of the show. HBK was in that gorilla the whole time because Triple H couldn't be there because of his health issues that he's taking care of. So there is all of that as well.
Heart. They broke his heart.
You're
Literally. Literally.
Amanda, go ahead, Amanda.
You know, the first thing I thought with that match, well, actually, let me go back. The first thing that I thought when Kyle O'Reilly was getting to be him, first thing I thought was, why the fuck do we have to listen to that promo? This is stupid. You know, like, you just wasted, I don't know, a minute of my life I can't get back.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, NXT. Thanks, WWE. Cheers to you.
We could have instead announced that Kyle O'Reilly got his tongue cut out in a tragic ice cream accident and wasn't going to be wrestling wrestling for a while and may not be talking upon his return.
Or unfortunately Kyle O'Reilly could not make it because he got the person who does his really bad mullet nicked his skin and he had to go to the ER because the scissors were rusty and gross and we won't see him for a while.
He got pink eye and hand, foot, mouth disease from eating ass. He's been gone for a while.
I don't know about that.
All right, moving along.
Yep.
Imperium versus Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. What I liked about this
match.
It was short. It was fine. Imperium won, looking great and strong, and they should. But what I liked about it was really seeing some of these entryways come to fruition as well. Seeing the NXT logo, seeing the background all just turn white for Imperium. I liked to see the presentation of it all. But you're right, short-ass match. Imperium looks fucking incredible, and I loved that. But it was kind of like, yep, I accept it. I like it. Keep it moving.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I mean, like, Josh Briggs was significantly better.
Yes. He's getting there. Let's see. We had the B-Fab segment in the back where she's talking where the Hit Row guys are talking shit. Hit Row. Hit Row. Hit Row.
I'll drive over there and hit you by the time you're done.
That's a good point. I liked the verbal between all of them, and I thought that B-Fab being hyped up by the guys behind her and her only saying a couple of words was well done.
Yes.
Yep.
I thought the match was better than I expected, but there's still room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? I'll start with Amanda, and then we'll go to Klump.
You know, I kind of went in to watching this one as I am not expecting much. So I was kind of surprised with what we got. But then again, I was like, ugh. I don't know. Something about Hit Row I just don't like, and I can't put my thumb on it. I tried to think about that last night, and I still don't know why. I mean, I love Swerve. Do not get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something about them. I don't know what it is.
It's just not clicking yet. Klump, what do you think about all this? Go ahead.
This is actually what won me over. Like, because
Really?
I've also been like, I want to like this shit. There's so many things I like about it. I like urban fashion. I love hip hop. I love big bald fucks like me. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I think the quietness of some of the talent was what bugged me. Seeing people who had been loud motherfuckers be quiet and hype up someone, I was like, I'm down with this. I support this. I like this. And it worked out well. I was happy with the match. So yeah, I was cool with this.
Okay.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Let me see. So then, okay, so yeah, I liked that bit. I liked. What about the promo afterwards with Legado del Fantasma, Elektra Lopez against Hit Row?
This again continued the thing with me with NXT. This episode was like, who the fuck is this person? Like, I didn't know who Elektra Lopez is. And yeah, I've not been the most WWE wrestling watchy person of late, but I was like, I feel like I should know this person who's talking over talent I do know. Like, what, why? And I'm not mad at it, but it was just like, the fuck is this? Like, okay. Like, it was just, to me, it's like, this is a weird ass way to intro someone.
So here's what this, at this point, is when I start noticing, right? We got Braun Breaker. We got B-Fab. We got Katrina Cortez. We got Elektra Lopez. We got Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, which basically their names are the same name but reversed. We're seeing a lot of segments with a lot of people who we haven't seen very much of, and it's a whole lot of who the fuck is this? This is when I really started feeling like this is a fucking reset. This is the moment when I saw the production and the view of all these people that I started to feel the same way I felt when I first saw NWA Power. It's a different presentation of a product we're familiar with in a way that's different with new, fresh faces. This felt new. Where with NXT, the way we had been seeing it for the past 2 years, felt a lot of the same with one person new. And we're going to use this one person. But we're using a lot of the same faces over and over and over again. We're building a whole fucking promotion around these indie guys. And it started to become like, this might be someone you might want to know about. This might be somebody who might be something. And I felt like they were trying a whole lot of things with a whole lot of new people in a fresh environment. And it gave me that NWA feel.
Okay, I'll give you that. That said, then the things that they kept going, some of them, including a big fucking thing, was like, this is the worst of the worst shit you do.
Yes. I will say that throughout this show, there was segment after segment of backstage segment that had to do with this wedding thing that could not have been more community
Annoying,
theater.
shitty. Yes.
Yep.
It was the lowest grade acting.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, Johnny Gargano truly believes in every bit of that character that he is the absolute center of the universe in everything. And that's not to say that the character Johnny Gargano thinks that he's the most important, because every character does, right? I'm saying the actor of Johnny Gargano acts things out as though everyone is only watching him.
Yes. He's a scene stealer.
No, but not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Yeah, no. Scene stealer I view as a negative. He's he's
attempting to steal the scene.
Yes. Yeah, it is also failing at it. Like, it's just, this is why.
Yes. Everything he does is trying to distract from what the focus is. So there was a lot of that. And I'd actually say that if you took this show and removed everything wedding related right out of it, I don't think I'd have a single complaint.
The wedding was the big thing to me that was just, this is that much worse. But I did have, like, I get what you're saying, and it does give me a positive, the idea of, yeah, we're introing people and we're resetting, but I also have big gripes myself in who they did and how they did, and then also, in some cases, steamrolling over others, it felt like. You know? Like, you
say what you're thinking about. If there's a segment we haven't gotten to yet, just dig into it.
Okay, so I'll go back to it. We have women's tag match, decent, solid match. During it, we see Kyle O'Reilly get his ass whipped. Okay.
Wait,
and then
Kyle O'Reilly got his ass whipped in a. Oh, during the match. Yeah. It cut
yeah,
to
which
the side thing.
we
Okay.
cut away from a match to that, which I'm like, that sucks. That's not
Yeah.
great. Then William Regal I seriously, who the fuck is the guy that was in the match that William Regal's like, you're gonna be in the 4-way to replace him? Who is he? What's his fucking importance?
Of which one?
In the 4-way, the guy that replaced Kyle O'Reilly. Who is he? Why? And other than it being a reset, okay, you have a built-in person you could do this with. You could say, Carmelo Hayes, you're up. You could give options to people, and it still is a reboot. You could bring people who've been near it but not in it. Fuck, bring Kushida in. Bring Swerve Scott in. But no, we get this guy who the fuck is he? And that
Van Wagner?
Yeah. Other than him being a big fucking guy who looks generic as hell, why is he in it?
I'll give you this. Here's what I'll give you. I'm going to kayfabe you, brother. Because NXT is the new SmackDown. It's the land of opportunity. William Regal sees something in this new guy that nobody else knows or has seen and gives him the opportunity. And I'm just saying that in a broad kayfabe sense of I felt like they were injecting a ton of new blood here because they really wanted to say, hey, the NXT we've been seeing for the past 6 months to a year has been very clingy to NXT from 2 years ago.
That's fair.
So now they're trying to say we're cutting ties. And this idea, because they've talked about it a ton of times, when you watch the NXT fucking social media, it's we've signed this 8 people. We have these 6 new people. This class has 10 people. In the last fucking Las Vegas thing, they said, hey, this last group of people we've signed is the biggest group we've ever signed. And then they showed a picture of 5 people. And you're like, no. You've got more that we don't see. I think the days going where you had 120 people signed to NXT and 15 of them on TV are over. And now they're saying NXT, their design is to get people ready so when they get to the main roster, they're not skittish, scared, and confused like a Karrion Kross might seem, like a Keith Lee might seem. You have these guys like Keith Lee and Karrion Kross who are surefire, no doubt, top-tier talent who get to the main roster and seem scared shitless. That has to end. You know what I mean? So here's Van Wagner. He's been there, I don't know, 2 months, a year, who knows? But you're on TV and you're in the main event. And kid, you better get comfortable in there because you're not going to be in this main event and also be in the WrestleMania main event if you're not comfortable now. You're not going to fucking be scared here and then not scared there. Like, you got to get there. You know what I mean? This feels like a training ground now.
Fair. I can get that. But
it's the only reason I didn't hate him there was I thought, give the kid a chance. You know what I mean?
yeah, but then in a sense, and you do this a lot, and I get why. You're trying to you like wrestling, you want to be positive, and you're trying to think be contrarian and think of why for it. But to me, I'm just like, I get that, but my side swinging the other way is why not someone with a bit more? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Grimes. Yeah. Why couldn't Grimes has earned that? Exactly. 100%. Why? Just why not Grimes? Why not fucking Austin Theory? I'm not saying that's good. Why not Johnny Gargano? Hey,
no.
I know not, but but also that throws to Marsh's point, not the NXT 2 years ago. Why not go to some of these different people? Why not Priest coming back?
Yeah, he came back for the wedding shit.
Yes. 100%. That's really what it was. The show was a good show, but there was these weird moments that just took it, whereas I feel like AEW this week was a bad show that had enough good moments that worked with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I liked about the NXT this one 2.0, and this is where we're in it, is that, like I said, it felt like giving these people a shot. It felt that's the life of NWA that it felt like, where it's who the fuck is Eddie Kingston? I don't know. Give him a mic. Who the fuck is Eli Drake? I don't fucking know. I don't watch Impact. Well, guess what? Shoes of a champion. You know what I mean? That's what this felt like. Was I don't know, give him Mike, see what he does. I don't know, put him in the main event, see how it goes. This felt like real proving ground, where NXT for the past year and a half to 2 years has not felt like a proving ground at all. It's felt like a blending in of high-end indies, you know?
Yeah.
I always think of when I made Amanda watch NXT and AEW so she could pop on the show as a guest spot. And I said, before you say anything about the show, what did you think about watching Dynamite and NXT all the way through? What did you think about those two shows? And all she said initially was, it felt like two very big budget indie shows. I was like, God damn. Is WWE trying to do that? Are they trying to be big budget indie? Or are they trying to solidify themselves as the premier place to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're doing it. I'm not saying it's successful, but I'm saying they're giving shit a try right now, and that's kind of where I'm living in it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think that if we give it, like give it a couple of episodes is my thought. But honestly, I just kind of feel that, they're these people. Like, who the fuck are you? Why are you taking away from my time over here?
Yeah.
And like Boa, I'm like, come on. Boa's hardly around. I'd love to see some Tian Sha shit, but whatever. Got to put some new people in here. Yeah. So I mean, it's hard, and it's hard to see that. My God, Cameron Grimes is so over, but yet all we do is see him in a wedding. What kind of use is that?
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. But then I always go back to Ricochet as that example of that was someone who was not ready to go to the roster. There are people that will probably never go to the roster. Never. Yeah. And I don't know. I just kind of feel that way because that's how I think Adam Cole felt. He knows he wasn't going to ever get to the main roster. Exactly. But isn't it funny when you look at Adam Cole in AEW, how he's doesn't look as small as he normally does?
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
That's just it. I thought Adam Cole made the right decision. 100%.
He did.
Because
absolutely.
I felt like he had no business in the WWE atmosphere. Because as much as I could get a ton of shit for it, I don't feel like he was as good as anybody on SmackDown. I don't feel like he was as good as anybody on Raw. I don't feel like he was better than T-Bar and Mace. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think he's better than Mansoor. I just don't. I watch what they do. I watch what he does, and I go, oh, he's an indie guy. He's a local dude. He's somebody who would come through my VFW here. He's somebody who might wrestle at my swap meet. That's what I feel like. And he'll be the big star there. Everyone will be like, oh, that guy's going to be big someday. But he doesn't
hits that growth spurt.
Yeah. But he doesn't come off as a big star. He comes off as a guy I think I could know on his way up, Well,
he also is a guy that he can't stand alone on his own. He needs some kind of a group with him. Undisputed Era, the elites. No, the Super Clique, if we remember that. But yeah, I mean that is what it is. And there's some people like LA Knight, dude. If you put him in a group, holy shit, that's a waste of fucking time. Because the man is money on his own.
100%. So let's keep it moving though, because we had Carmelo Hayes do that promo thing with Trick Williams, which I just liked all of that. It was fine. It was a little weird, and Trick Hayes was a little bit really trying to get his lines in a way that didn't make a ton of sense, but it was fine. Like I said, I started to feel like this is a training ground and stopped feeling like this is a highlight reel of indie-rific talent. Anything you want to say about that as we roll through?
Let's keep going.
Yeah. Because it was what it was, and it'll either come up again or it won't, and it was fine for what it was. But it wasn't like this standout incredible thing. It was just fine. And Carmelo might be turning heel, and Carmelo's a fantastic talent. I'm curious to see what he does. And the tag match, fine. But we ended up with the women. We had Casey and Kaden against Gigi and JC, and then there was interference with Mandy, so Saray comes out. We end up with Casey and Kaden and Saray versus Gigi, JC, and Mandy. I want to know, before I say anything about it, I'm going to start with Klump. What did you think about you can talk about the women's tag, but it was so short. So if you want to go to the 3-on-3 specifically, what did you think about this match specifically?
It wasn't a bad match. The talent, like Casey and Kaden, do a decent match. They really do. I feel that I don't see them going to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
I find them very generic. They're not bad. They can't. I don't see a character like. They don't get out of the mic. They don't. That's my views. That I just don't see them going. They're not bad, but they're great hands.
Right.
The run-ins were good. I love seeing Saray. I felt bad that this had in the middle of it was it more of an affront to them that we lost focus to Kyle O'Reilly, or was it more of an affront to Kyle O'Reilly that, yeah, buddy, fuck you, your segment's going to be in the middle of a match, and then we're not going to talk to you after. You know what I mean?
Yeah. As we're watching this match, producer says that JC she couldn't really give a shit less about right now. She feels so statically void. And I don't disagree, but what I do think is really cool is that, for one, Gigi is really in tune with her character there and really trying to tune that up. And Mandy's been on the main roster long enough and has never been short of character that I think the two of them working with JC is really going to help her find her footing and a place. This is where I meant we start to really see the matches start to form in the idea of creating next talent. I mean, NXT was supposed to be the next talent, right? The next years, the future. This match, to me, when I watched it move for move and motion to motion, it was fucking nearly flawless. I'm going to be honest. I've been harsh on a lot of women's wrestling. As much as I love women's wrestling, obviously, Bayley, Becky, Four Horsewomen are some of my absolute favorite wrestlers. I go on and on about how amazing they are. But I've said it in private, maybe briefly on the show, that I think that the community can be a little forgiving of the women talent at times in matches that are not very good for the sake of being supportive. And I think that that's fine, but I do think that it doesn't help growth. But with that being said, on a very base level, this match was so perfectly done. Everyone's working to their strengths and working around everyone's weaknesses. Everyone looked fucking phenomenal. This match was nearly perfect. I'd almost want to study this match. I've seen it several times now, and I want to watch it a few more times because the way that Mandy was using her power against Casey's size, Casey was using her speed against everyone else's size and power. The idea that, there was one spot that I watched 3 times where Casey does a cross-body springboard off the ropes into Mandy. Mandy catches her and doesn't even bump back. Doesn't even budge back, keeps moving forward because they're showing that Casey is agile, quick, and swift, but Mandy is so fucking strong. And it was perfectly done. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of that in here. This seems like the greatest pairing of 6 women together in one storyline that I've seen in a long time, and I think that on the other side of this, all 6 of them are going to be in a fantastic position as far as ready to go and ready to do the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I the work in the ring, yeah. And maybe I'm applying too much. When I see them in other things, I'm just So coming into it, I just kind of didn't care. Which I need to go watch the match. Yeah.
Going into it, there was a lot of reasons to not care apart from, Mandy's a brunette now. Is that enough reason to make you really care? Probably not. But I'm saying rewatch this match and just watch it as a match. Put it isolated. Isolate this match. Because I've seen it a couple times now, and like I said, I'm going to watch it again. I was so blown away by how well done this was put together by 6 women that I didn't think would put on a match of this caliber. Because you look at it and you go, Mandy's really the veteran here, realistically. And you have Saray, who's a veteran in her own right with the Joshi. But you have a lot of hyper-athletic very excited indie talent outside of that. And you're kind of like, well, how's this going to look? This was done so well. I was blown away. I was not surprised that this is the match that the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." So I would encourage you, Klump, if you just watch this one match, even go fast forward through the fucking part before Mandy runs in. Only do the commercial break when Mandy's in the match and after. Watch this match move for move again and just kind of watch it. And then tell me what you think, because I think this is why Mandy's back there, and I think it's why she deserves to be there. You know.
Okay.
And Mandy's looking awesome as ever, dude. When they first put the fucking, when they did the nose gimmick with her and the face mask, I was like, oh no. I was like, is Mandy gonna get a nose job? And that's not to say there's something wrong with getting a nose job, right? Like.
No.
People can do whatever they want to do to feel confident about their bodies, and I'm 100% behind that. But from an outside perspective, to see someone like a Mandy Rose, who's by all accounts like a weird science kind of output of perfection, known as, was it the Golden Goddess for a while, God's greatest creation, she gives off this and exudes this persona of absolute physical perfection in a lot of ways, her face included. She's beautiful. If she got a nose job, I was like, fuck, that's going to hit some people in a certain kind of way where they're going to be like, oh man, if Mandy's not pretty enough, what does that mean about me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a shitty, unfortunate thing that happens, but it happens. But
it's fair.
She didn't. Go ahead, Klump.
Well, it's fair, and it's also like a thing of like, I mean, and this is a thing, maybe I always feel weird as a guy critiquing women in wrestling, but it is a thing that I think of that with like the possible nose job angle and the connotations of it. I'm like, do we need more like this beauty angles where the focus is so much on the aesthetic component rather than the talent in the ring? You know what I mean?
100%. So when she came back and her hair was dyed, but everything else was the same, I was like, awesome. And then she was wrestling in the cutoff shorts. She had those boots. She had a real Laura Croft kind of look. I was like, she looks like a badass. She looks like a badass. Her legs look massive. So when she was doing that fucking squeeze on Casey with her legs around her, squeezing her with her thighs, I was like, yeah, that feels like that would crush you to death. Like, she looks strong. Amanda, chime in.
Well, you know, when I saw Mandy at first, I don't know, because, you know, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, no, God, don't do this. And then I was very surprised in what she brought to the table and the way she worked with, you know, Gigi and all of them. And it just really, really good. It was well put together. I don't know who put this one together, but whoever did, because it was probably, I'd say that was the match of the evening, if anything.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time arguing.
I think it saved a shitty show, not by much, but it's, you know, because it all goes downhill.
Well, there's a lot that happens after that, but yeah, this was definitely a huge highlight. And to be honest, at this point, I mean, I've talked real highly of a lot of matches. I would say that it would be difficult for me to not include this in at least a top 10 women's matches of the entire year. Probably top 5. And if I would say like women's tag matches specifically, I'd probably put this in a top 5 somewhere. Like, I thought this was done to a level of perfection that I was not expecting out of this. I was like, oh, it's going to be a sloppy mess. It's really what I thought watching it. And as I rewatched it over and over again, I was like, God damn. Like, everything they did was a complete play on everyone's ability and a complete play against their shortcomings. I was blown away by it. I really was. As I watched it with my microscope as I do. But as we move it along, I do suggest people watch that and Klump. Give it one more watch and just give it a look. And you can tell me if my head's completely up my ass. You know I've never had a hard time with you saying I rewatched it clear as day. And
Still sucked.
You're fucking dumber than ever. I'd be okay. I'll stop drinking when I watch. We had Ridge Holland versus Dave Maverick, which was exactly what you would think it would be.
Yep.
Creed Brothers versus local competitors, exactly what you think it would be. Although I did like showing Ivy Nile.
Yeah.
She looks like a badass. I liked her highlighting her. I liked the chain gimmick. Go ahead, Klump.
No, I like the chain gimmick. I like that. I didn't think the match itself was bad. I thought like good, like make them look scary kind of match worked out for me. I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And I was trying. It was cool though. I was cool with it. We had 3 Steiner brothers in one show.
Yeah. The tag is good. The Diamond Mine tag team itself is a good tag team, but they say weird shit. There's one guy who's all like, "What do you want? I love it," and just jumps at a guy, and you're like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Like it was weird, but
Diamond Mine is weird.
They're good. Okay. Yeah.
No.
They're good, but there's just no personality there, so we'll see how.
I just like fast forwarded through that because I was like, oh Jesus, no,
really, I don't think the match was bad, but I guess I wouldn't tell you to go back and rewatch it. To be honest, no,
but even if you did, I probably wouldn't, just because Diamond Mine is, I don't know, not sold on. I don't think I ever will be.
Okay. A few things in the chat real quick. Fantasy booking. This is by Montanez 98. Fantasy booking. Do you think Will Ospreay walk into the Forbidden Door and stare down Bryan Danielson next week?
Fuck off. I hope not.
That's fair.
If he's still in England, he's stuck there. Good. I'm glad. I hope he's still stuck there when the cruise is happening. As I lean in and to the screen, because I know some of you aren't watching. But yes, that ain't gonna happen.
I appreciate you setting off Amanda, sir. Or ma'am.
Yes, 100%. Is there anything you think about that, Klump? Because I'll just say it now. I don't know what Ospreay has to do with any of them as of right now. Because
I don't really care.
Ospreay, well, for
the best
one,
in the world. That's the only thing. Like the only person right now that he really has heat with would be Omega. But I don't want to see that.
But Ospreay hasn't beaten Omega, right?
No.
So then, what the fuck would it matter if he has any kind of gripe with Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, I don't understand.
That's what I mean. Like the timing of it wouldn't make sense to me, unless Daniel Bryan beats Kenny Omega, and then he's saying Ospreay comes out and goes, "Oh, you beat him, but can you beat me?" And then it's really like, well, you can't even. You haven't beat the other guy.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Yeah. No, I'm not about it. I don't give a shit about that. But it doesn't make sense to me. Klump, does it make sense to you in any way?
No. It's just fantasy booking, like because big name talent, and that's cool and all. I get it, like, but I mean, equally, I might throw like, do y'all think? Yeah, I know. Or like, do y'all think like John Cena will go through the door? We have no reason to think this shit's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
It would be great if John Cena wore his Echo shorts, and then you have Ricky Starks in those little tight suit pants. Oh, and I'm sorry, wrong show. Anyway,
and then
that's a different fantasy booking.
Big E comes out in his singlet. We got 3 men clapping cheeks.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
This is Bote. And you know who else too? I think he has a pretty great butt. Is oh God, why am I blanking on his name? I just see his ass. Oh God.
Billy Gunn,
JTG.
Mr. Ass.
No. JTG, he has a good one.
Oh yeah.
Shad, rest in peace. It was a little bit better.
I love Marsh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So apart from that, I don't agree with the idea of Ospreay coming out. It wouldn't make sense to me. And I mean, even if he did,
I think they're thinking this Forbidden Door with Ocean Spray. I've said his name too many times, so I'm going to the usual. Yeah. My usual. I think people are thinking, oh, he's gonna come through this door. I'm like, no. If he does,
maybe for just in time of the Jericho cruise, I could see that as a possibility.
But he doesn't live in the States. He lives in England, and you can't fly out of England right now. That's the fucking best gift ever. Please, England, the UK, Prime Minister, the Queen, I don't care who.
Nice.
Lock people
we got
in the
GR Lunar says, howdy, y'all. Cheers, everybody. Cheers to GR Lunar. Micah is saying, did y'all talk about the Jericho segment yet? We skipped over. I don't think we talked about it at all. And he goes, but you just described heel heat, Marsh. No one actually believes heels are heels. So I think that's back when we were talking about MJF. And I would completely disagree. The idea is that I think that there's definitely a line. Like, I mean, shock for shock sake. I mean, we're talking about shock jocks at that point. MJF's no different than a Howard Stern in a sense. Can I say something that will make people shocked? That's not heel heat. That's just shock jock bullshit. And when no one believes you think that to begin with, then the idea of heel heat is what people think that you're actually thinking that or behaving in such a way that's believable. MJF's not believable in any sense of the word. But the Jericho segment, did you guys have anything to say about Jericho and his thing? I forgot he even showed up, and I didn't give a shit when I heard he did.
Oh, yeah, Jake Hager came out with him. MMA bullshit. Oh, he never lost an MMA match. No, I didn't care.
Who's that loud old fuck?
Oh, Dan. That was okay. I don't get, dude. Dan, whatever his name is, I don't know what the hell. I don't know who he is either.
Yeah, that's.
I have no idea. All I know is he gives me a headache.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's not a very good promo person. I mean, some people think he is, but no.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's like just whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say this: if you want real good heel heat, I swear to God, I think that he is probably, at least in that universe in GCW, fucking Matt Cardona.
Cardona, that's heel heat.
Cardona is the ultimate heel. He makes MJF look like a fucking little sperm. That's how insignificant.
I agree actually with that entirely. There's a huge difference between MJF and Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is getting heat from the crowd. MJF is asking the crowd to politely boo him while they clap. Yeah. And I think that's a huge difference there. Can I shock you to say ooh, or can I just actually say something that's going to piss you off? Like, yeah.
And if anyone hasn't seen it, they need to see the match when he beats Nick Gage for the title. It's insane. That right there was some epic fucking heel fucking. It was the best thing. I was like, damn, dude, that's what being a heel is all about. I'm all about that.
Oh yeah.
And
we were talking about going to the GCW show this weekend. Ultimately, we had to cancel the trip. And I'll be honest with you, part of the thing that made me say, you know what, I'm just not going to try, was when he lost the title a couple weeks back. I just went, you know what? I was really hoping he might show up to that one. That was going to push me over. But when I saw you lost the title, I was kind of like, we'll catch the next one. You know what I mean? Because it'll be okay. And we just didn't need to spend the money right now. So it was like there was a lot to it. But I will say there was a definitive moment when he lost the title that I looked at producer and said, you know what? We'll miss this one. We'll try and catch another one. It's just going to be another GCW show. Like, I felt like there was something special about seeing Cardona as champion, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, there was, because just the crowd reaction, no matter where it is, it could be in, it could be in New Jersey where they, or Atlantic City. But that is New Jersey. Anyways, so I think that that would have been very, very interesting. One that I think would be interesting too is their whole thing with Ron Funches and Tony Deppen. Yeah. I want to see where that goes.
100%.
That's another one I'm curious to see where that goes. And it is on the card tomorrow. I'm just really curious. I mean, that right there.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm buying it. I just have to. And then, I guess also just see Suzuki and Gresham, because that's going to be weird. I think I can't wait. Can't wait for Murder Grandpa to kill that guy. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see Murder Grandpa do his entrance with the GCW crowd.
For sure.
And in LA, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they are at, I have to look it up to make sure. Are they
at training center?
Yeah. Oh, the White Claw Cultural Center. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Special place.
Klump, anything you want to throw in there before we talk about the Fatal 4-Way?
Nah. Get
Man,
to this
you ready
piece
to
of
talk about
shit.
the 4-Way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw this out here. I know I cut you off, and, this is what it is. We can't be here all night. So, yeah. This Fatal 4-Way, as I'm watching it, I want to hear what you guys think about it, but I do want to spell this out for you. I loved it. I loved moments of it. Van Wagner was a weird setup in the middle of all this because you had a bunch of veterans who do what veterans do and this new guy trying to fucking play along. But I felt like it worked in a lot of ways. I thought Van Wagner got a lot out of it. There was a moment, mostly towards the end, where all three end up on the outside. Ciampa's on the inside. Ciampa dives out. Ciampa's elbow or something hits LA Knight in the side of the head, busts his eyebrow wide open. As I'm watching with producer, I went, oh shit, LA Knight's busted open. And she was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, watch. Ciampa and Pete Dunne get in the ring. They start messing around. You see LA Knight jump in and he's pouring blood. And I was like, fuck, he's bleeding too much. And I was like, I bet you they pull him to the side. And I bet you Ciampa and Pete Dunne give the word to Van Wagner to roll out until LA Knight comes back in the match. And then that's what happens. LA Knight rolls off to the side. You see the medical start to handle him. You see the Ciampa and Pete Dunne do a double team on Van Wagner. He rolls out, and I was like, I bet you anything. They told him, wait till LA Knight gets back in. And I was like, and I bet you LA Knight is part of the finish, and that's why they're taking care of him right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, they're going to pull him out. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, he's part of the finish, and Van Wagner is not to be improvising, and Ciampa and Pete Dunne are going to improvise this match for a while. Well, they improvised part of a match. All of a sudden, LA Knight comes diving back in. Lo and behold, right behind him, Van Wagner jumps in, does his spot. Ciampa does his spot. Boom. LA Knight gets pinned 1, 2, 3 by Ciampa. Ciampa's your new champion. And producer lady went, what the fuck? She goes like, you called the whole ending of that match. And I was all like, it's weird how I look at stuff. And I was like, but if I'm running a match on the middle of the ring, if I'm the ref, that's what I'm going to try and call. What? Starting with Amanda, then we'll go to Klump. Amanda, what did you think of this match?
There were moments that were great, but the whole time I'm like, why isn't someone we know in this? I get it, you're introducing new people, but come on, like someone who is not normally in this particular title scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. God forbid I book this shit. I don't.
I honestly think, as a quick side note, it's because we knew the other three, and this was just to give us a taste of this one guy when the focus was on the other guys, and it was to give that guy a taste of the main event, and that's all. I think that's all it was. He was static in a lot of senses, but continue.
Okay. Well, that being the case, but I will say that, am I disappointed with the outcome? Yeah, kind of, because I'd love to see LA Knight with the belt. He just lost one, but this one's even better. And then that would get his rise and his rocket ship to go to the main roster. That's what I was hoping for. But
potentially, in my mind, the loss almost solidifies. They've announced there's going to be a draft October 1st. I think by LA Knight losing here, you can give him another week or two with some of the guys, and then you have him drafted. Draft him.
Yes.
Producer wants him drafted to Raw because she says Raw desperately needs him. I want him drafted to SmackDown because SmackDown's my favorite show ever, and I like to see all my favorites there. I don't know the right answer, but that's where I'm at. Klump, what do you think is Fatal 4-Way and everything I just said?
I agree with you. I think LA Knight's going to go to the main roster, and that's the goal of this. But I agree with Amanda's. I didn't get the mix up there. I ultimately am happy because I think Tommaso Ciampa winning is the right move in my eyes. I mean, he makes that brand, so hell yeah. So I felt that was going to happen. But I'm still really stuck on the choice of talent. Now, it worked out well. It wasn't a bad match, but I feel like it could have been a better match. It also, and it felt too fast. Maybe because of the amount of moving parts in it, but it just felt so fast to the point that I wondered, did they cut this time-wise for what came after? Which
I think so.
Yeah, and this should have been the main event. I'm sorry. You're telling me your main event is this and is a wedding and not this. Like, that bugs me a lot.
If I were on the roster or any of those 4 gentlemen, I would have been pissed. Like, this bullshit is.
I would have gone long.
Yeah, I could have.
Oh no.
Oh no, what are you doing? Oh no, we can't. You know, we need to have a disaster at the wedding. Oh no.
Yeah, that's just my frustration.
I get it.
I agree. Yeah, to be quite honest, producer even tweeted about the main event, talking about this match, and then when the match was over, she was like, "Wait, a fucking wedding after this?"
Yep.
I agree 100%, and I will even say that to me the show ended right here. That everything afterwards was not only worthless but counterproductive and juvenile.
Yeah.
However, I do understand there's a lot of people who really enjoyed it. I don't understand their humor. I believe those are people who would also enjoy The Big Bang Theory. If I were to,
I always love
that
you hate The Big Bang Theory. Like, I feel like I'm the only one in the world who's like, this is the most unfunny, stupid fucking thing ever. So I appreciate that you think that. Like, it's just, it's rough. Dude. And it was the worst of Johnny Gargano. It was just to me, I was like, I'm gonna try and like this. And at any point I liked anything, it just went not a step beyond, but like 30 to the point of there's no restraint, but also there is no quality control. Who the fuck was the dude in the multicolored thing that suddenly had an appearance?
Oh, Jiro
was that Kona
or
Reeves?
whatever? No, Kona Reeves is gone. His name's like Jiro, I think. Yeah, he's always dressed like an idiot. That's the thing is when I was watching this, I felt like it was a shitty high school play produced and written by the high schoolers themselves. Yes. And not like people just doing an actual play that was already written by actual writers. It was
and there's one
wouldn't
person
this be funny?
Yeah, and there's one person, like the most charismatic of the drama club, who's like, and then we got to give me space to ad-lib. And that didn't work out. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, just trust me. Give me time. Trust me. And it's just fucking absolute trash. So 100%. I felt like the show should have ended here with Ciampa holding up the title. Even maybe have Braun Breaker challenging Ciampa the way that he did, introducing himself, and let it fade to black there. But everything involving this wedding was just couldn't have been more horrible. Like it was embarrassingly bad. Remember how I've talked about it before, how watching AEW made me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan, and there were definitely segments where I thought, I can't ask my friends to check this out and see what I watch. I 100% felt that about every moment of every bit of the wedding. I was like, I don't even, like, if my friends told me they caught NXT last night, I'd be like, when did you turn it off? That'd be my first question. You know? Because, it was just so bad. It was outrageously bad. This isn't sports entertainment. This is high school drama shit.
Kind of insulting.
Yes.
Yeah. And one person, I'm like, Beth, come on.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And you know what? I never, I didn't watch it with, the most positive things to say or think. So I was just already, this is shit. Why the fuck am I watching this? Why didn't I fast forward? But I wanted to see a train wreck. And I did, Was it worth it? no, because I can't get that time back in my life.
I 100% asked producer, I said, at this point in the show, because that match was over, I was like, I am absolutely okay with just turning it off. Do you want to sit through here, or do you want to just turn it off? I was like, I don't mind if on our own podcast or review I say I turned it off, I wasn't going to watch it. And she said, well, let's keep it on, but let's get like dinner and shit ready. And we just kind of did other things, but it was on and we were watching and we kept looking at each other like, fuck. And it was just a bummer because all the way up until this point, like I say, if I remove the little bits in the back with the wedding, I was really fucking loving this whole show. I was really on board. You heard me hyping up some of these people who you thought, like, why the fuck are they here? And I was like, because goddamn it, that's what we do here. And then this came on and I was like, fuck. Like, you had to really shit your pants at the end of the show. You couldn't have just ended it on a high note, you know?
You know, that's Johnny Wrestling, you know, and his crew. You know, you have to give the people what they want. No, we don't want this kind of bullshit. Seriously. Yeah. Like I feel, I don't know, this NXT episode made me feel like, gosh, you make me feel like a stupid wrestling fan. Like I'm dumb. Yep. You're trying to pull one over on me. So I think that was part of my disdain for the particular 2.0 launch. I think the 2.0 launch should have been a little different than what it was. We shouldn't have had fucking bullshit weddings on it. You know, I think that, having a lot of new talent is great, but you also need to have some of those, cornerstone kind of people.
Yeah.
More so than really mixing it with these guys that are new, because then that way you can really see, okay, what's that potential level, you know?
Yeah, and I'd even say, I know that you guys were talking about your gripes with Ciampa winning potentially, and I do feel like that's a one step forward, two steps back kind of a deal, but I do think that there's a lot there with a guy like Ciampa versus a guy like Adam Cole or Gargano.
No, I was cool with Ciampa. It was like that was
fun.
Great. It was more like to me specifically, the random new person just in it for no reason. I'm cool giving it to Ciampa. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
but
makes
I'm
a
a little
form
sad.
of sense to me, yeah. I wanted it to be LA Knight.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
At the end of the day, Ciampa is on a different level than a Gargano or Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. He's believable in so many senses, and he's traditional, and he knows how to do things believably, both in storytelling, in promo, in the ring. He can do the catch wrestling. He can do the flips. He can do it all. So having him on top works. It'll work. But at the same time, like, did I want to see a Pete Dunne or LA Knight? Yeah, it'd be fucking dope. But maybe they got something else on the line there, or on the horizon.
Well, they didn't prove him wrong. They totally proved him wrong. He doesn't need a belt.
That's true. But yeah, I don't know that I would say that the show in and of itself felt like it was like insulting, but the ending segment really was, where it was like a test. Are you willing to sit through this? And that's shitty because I was really on board for everything before it. I loved the show, and then this happened. So it was just a bummer to me to end it this way.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting what next week brings to 2.0. Because if it's the same kind of bullshitty kind of shit, I don't know.
So there's this rumor right now that Gargano his contract's going to be up in December. If that's true, I mean, without trying to sound like a dick, I hope he leaves.
Yeah, but he's also, I don't think he'll go to AEW. He's going to get lost in the pile. There are too many people who are better than him. His wife, however, would really shake up the women.
Yeah, I could see that.
He could stay at home and be dad. He could be Mr. Mom.
I think if they separated them and let them act independent.
Mm.
I mean, Candace is fucking great. Candace
Yeah.
would be a fantastic champion anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to get her ass away from him, or have him be her mouthpiece. No.
Yeah.
Not mouthpiece, manager. A
Mhm.
silent manager.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I'm on board with that too. So, guys, as we get towards the end of last call here, as the lights start to dim, I know you guys both came in thinking like, hey, I really hated this show. Is there anything we've talked about that's turned you around on the idea of the show overall? Or was it really just that it ended in such a sour taste in your mouth that it made you think that? I'm going to start with
No,
Clint.
I still hate it. I'm still
thing?
not happy with it. And the ending was the worst part of it, but it was like, I'm still stuck on, I get what you were trying to do. Why with this grouping of people? I understand and can appreciate in some cases introducing new people and giving them a spot of prominence, but why these random ones? We didn't even talk about fucking mob guy from Chicago.
Oh, yeah, Chicago dude. I'm
Which
right
I
with
was like,
him.
the fuck is that?
You know what he
AEW.
is? He's
Some
real
AEW shit.
Eddie Kingston.
I'm going over to like cuss you out and hit you, and producer ain't going to sleep for a while because it's gonna be loud.
Kingston's a little bitch now, and this is a real man over here in NXT. That's what they got. They got a Chicago guy, real.
Man,
So
I
they
wanted
have
to meet
Chicago.
Kingston. Thanks for ruining that.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna talk to us.
Yeah, no, Kingston's gonna hate me now. Amanda, anything we said about the show turn your view around on it at all, or did you hate it all overall?
I still hated it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, just because I think that repackaging something should be a little bit more grand than what we saw. So I was mega disappointed. And you could have had I don't know, you could have had you could have had John Cena and a thong come out and I still would be
Unhappy.
No.
Let's see in the chat real quick. Oh yeah, no, nothing new in the chat. I'm stoked for NXT 2.0. I think that the name is a little weird. I think the 2.0 part's a little bit weird, but I like that it's new. I like that it's fresh. I like that it's a whole new feeling of everything. I liked so much about it. I like the new presentation. I like the bright stadium. I liked the fact that you could see the crowd. I saw some people say that they felt like it made the crowd seem smaller. And all I could think was, motherfucker, the past year, all we've had is 2 rows of people behind pane glass. Mm-hmm. So, no, it doesn't feel like less people to me. It feels like easily 3 times the amount of people to me.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like a baseball stadium? No. It didn't feel like a SmackDown? No. It felt like a small version of WWE. So the people who are there to get to the big version of WWE aren't startled and scared. So to me, it felt perfect in so many ways. I'm going to tell you this real quick, too. When I was talking to Kevlar about it last night, because I told him, I was like, I felt like you might like it. He said he's been watching it, and he fucking loved it, which is hysterical to me because he did not care for the last iteration of NXT. He said it felt like random indie bullshit, and he wasn't into it. And he even talked about how he loved WCW, or he hated WCW and preferred WWF at the time during the wars because WWF was bigger and more colorful. And so he's like, this version of NXT, he's like, I love it. And I was like, that's so fucking funny to me.
Turn the color down. Down.
But Goth NXT next week.
Yeah. So we're going to see Goth NXT next week. We're going to see what happens with it all. Is there anything you guys think we missed, Klump?
I think we're good.
I think we did a good job. Amanda, anything that we didn't mention you want to mention?
No, I think we did pretty good, but there's a lot of good shit happening, with AEW tomorrow and this whole week. So it'll be very interesting to watch. And then next week too, obviously.
What's happening on Rampage?
Rampage. Hold on. My phone's locked.
Because the only matches I know about are for Dynamite with Brian and Kenny and Ruby and Britt are the only matches I know about off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, no, and there's FTR versus was it Darby and Sting? Yeah. There's
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think that's what it is. Hold on. Apparently Rampage is going to get Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson, I guess, bitching each other out. That'll be interesting. I just think, because we didn't talk about it, but it's nice to see that he's kind of departing from how he was in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, I always thought that it's like he's a pushover.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like he's very independent, he's his own thinker, and whatnot. But I don't know. Then again, I haven't really watched WWE in a long time. Yeah. NXT counts, but it doesn't count. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I'm so happy you came through. I'm so glad you guys did not enjoy the things I liked and vice versa, because I think it makes the conversation so much more interesting and so much more fun. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you're drinking. It's about who you're drinking with. And you guys are my drinking buddies, and we are your drinking buddies. Klump, thank you so much for making the time. I know that we're running a little bit later than you like to, but I really appreciate you coming through and talking that shit, man. Guys, I'm at Ref Marsh. We're at WOTR The Show. That is at Crybaby Klump. That is at Miss Amanda Jayne. I don't know if I did that backwards. With a Y.
No, you did right. You did.
Yeah. And we are going to be back next week for a brand new episode 1. And we hope you join us for a drink right here in the dive bar of the IWC, guys. That's the last call.
Have a good night, y'all.
Nighty night.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I in subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with wrestling on the rocks.